go with these kids and you might make some comments as I go across the offensive set, okay?
All right.
On the offensive line for the Bulldogs of Howe, the left end, number 11, Stephen Hawthorne, a senior at 190. The left tackle, James Neely, a 210-pound senior. The left guard, number 56, 195-pound senior, Thomas Troxtel. The center, boy, the pivot part of any football team, the place that everything has to start and be right. The center, number 52, Tony McLean, a 240-pound senior. The right guard for the Bulldogs, number 62, Scott Nass, a 175-pound senior. The right tackle is number 72, a 210-pound senior, David Beeman. And the right end for the Bulldogs, number 45, David Kennedy, 175, and also a senior. In the backfield for the Howe Bulldogs, young man who is known quite well in this area because his family's from here. His dad also a fine athlete. Number 9, Jay Skipworth, quarterback, 150, and a senior. The slot back on the right side, the right slot, number 42, a 200-pound sophomore, Monty Walker. The left slot back, Jerry Covington, number 30, 175-pound senior. And the fullback, Clint Bray, number 44, a 190-pound senior. Overall, boy, that's quite the offensive line for Howe, 199-pound. The backfield, 174. The offensive team, 192-pound. They start 10 seniors and 1 sophomore. Jim Kuntz, that's quite a big line for just a 2A club. Overall, a big team for a 2A club.
Yes, we have an awfully big offensive and defensive line. They've moved the ball real well and controlled the line of scrimmage, which if any football game, if you're going to win the football game, you have to control the line of scrimmage.
You certainly do that, and they have the big kids to do it with. And you say quite often they do have a lot of motion most every play, and they throw the ball, what, 35, 40% of the time?
They probably throw the football more like 50% of the time. Jay Skipworth throws the ball to virtually all of his receivers. He'll use Hawthorne, who is his leading receiver. David Kennedy right behind him. David's been injured a couple of weeks, and that's why he's a few catches behind. But then you'll also see him throwing to all of the running backs. And then, of course, number 44, Clint Bray, is a power running back from the fullback spot.
Very good. As we gave the offensive unit for Howe, we have not as yet given the defensive unit for Howe. We'll give that now. Opposing the offensive unit for Van Alstyne, the defensive unit for Howe. On the defensive line, the right end, number 44, Clint Bray, 190 and a senior. The right tackle, Daniel Williams, number 76, 170 and a junior. The nose guard, Kevin Gray, a 175-pound junior. He wears number 64. The left tackle, number 74, Blair Nelson, 210 and a senior. And the left end, Jamie Boatman, number 22, 160 and a senior. The linebackers, Thomas Troxtel, the left linebacker, number 56, 195 and a senior. Now, I think you tell me this Troxtel's quite a fine linebacker, right, Jim Kuntz?
He's the leading tackler on the ball club. He and Blair Nelson would be the two men to watch on defense for Howe. Very
good. The right linebacker for the Bulldogs, John Norwood, number 32, 170-pound junior. The right cornerback, number 30, Jerry Covington, 175 and a senior. The left cornerback, Matt Cavender, number 16. Matt's a 160-pound junior. The strong safety, Jay Skipworth, number 9, 150-pound senior. And the free safety, Wade Carson, 160-pound junior, and he wears number 7. Overall, 6 seniors, 5 juniors, and that's quite a unit. And a good defensive unit for the Howe Bulldogs. I mean, you can see by the scores in their game so far, Howe plays good defense, but most of all, Howe puts the football in the air. This should be a great football game. Howe throws the football, throws it well. Van Alstyne throws the football, throws it well. This should be a great offensive tip. You hear the teams back on the field. We'll be back with the kickoff after these words from our sponsors. Welcome once again to Panther Field here in Van Alstyne, Commodore Wood. Jim Kuntz and Billy Holcomb bring you the ball game tonight. The very important ball game, what boils down to who represents the district out of this AA district between the Howe Bulldogs, who are deployed to defend the west goal and receive, and the Van Alstyne Panthers, who are deploying to kick off and defend the east goal and will kick from east to west. Quickly, the starting units for offense for Howe, since they'll be receiving the football on the line: Stephen Hawthorne, James Neely, Thomas Troxtel, Tony McLean, Scott Nass, David Beeman, and David Kennedy. In the backfield, Jay Skipworth. The quarterback, Clint Bray, the fullback. The left slot is Jerry Covington. The right slot is Monty Walker. Defensively for Van Alstyne, on the defensive line, Brian Jackson, Jason Hicks, David Wade, Ryan Hampton, Brian Morgan. Linebackers, Stephen Howard and Kevin Hicks. Cornerback, Sean Beatty, Chris Weatherly, and the deep safety, Curtis Colbray, Patrick Williams. Kickoff time, for Van Alstyne. It goes to one of the short men for Howe at about the 30, out across the 35, 36, 37-yard line. Brought down there very quickly was whom there on that. We kept this play underway and tried to pick up that man, and that was Monty Walker. Right, Jim Q?
That's
okay.
Correct. Monty Walker on the reception.
Monty Walker receiving the kickoff and runs it back. 1st and 10 for Howe from their own 37-yard line. The ball game just underway, of course, no score. Howe comes out with the football. As he told us, Commodore will have receivers out wide and do this to start off. Kennedy right and Hawthorne left. Jay Skipworth, the quarterback. Clint Bray, the pistol tailback, sweeping from right to left. That's the left slot back, switching from left to right. And I believe that was Covington. If he got across the 40, 45, about the 47-yard line, very close to the point necessary for the 1st and 10. Let's see, was it Jerry Covington or was it not?
That was Jerry Covington on the carry. Jason Hicks, number 71, on the tackle for Van Alstyne.
On the tackle for Van Alstyne. And was that enough for the 1st and 10? No, it was a pickup of about a long, call it 9 yards. 2nd and 1 for Howe. They play it from their own 46-yard line. Skipworth to the fullback on the left side. Hit about the line of scrimmage and going to be stopped right about where you receive the football, or about the line of scrimmage. Good stop at the line of scrimmage for Van Alstyne. The bottom of the pile was number 81, if I remember correctly, Brian Jackson, I think that was he. And that was the fullback, Clint Bray, was it, Jim?
That's correct, Clint Bray.
And give him a gain of a half yard. It's going to be 3rd and a half yard for Howe from their own 47-yard line. Split back, swapped right and left, and motion across to Covington. And hand once again the fullback on the left side. Got a big opening at the 50, 45, and Van Alstyne into the field, down to the 42-yard line. Van Alstyne into the football field. 1st and 10 for Howe at that point.
Clint Bray making that carry. Toby Malone was the tackler that time for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
Tell you what, that time Skipworth has handed the ball to Clint Bray, and I think he told him go left, but look for the opening, not a specific spot, and he looked for the opening. It was a big one there, Jim.
There was a big opening over on that left side of the offensive line on Howe's offensive side of the football.
1st and 10 Howe at the Van Alstyne 42. Receivers wide left and right. Covington motion left to right. Skipworth the quarterback fakes left half, right to the left to the wing slot back from right to the left, moving across the 35 down around the 30-yard line and bounced out of bounds. There was Monty Walker.
And number 17 Weatherly cut him off there at the sideline, or otherwise that could have been a lot bigger gain than it was.
Chris Weatherly finally bumped him out right on the 30-yard line. Van Alstyne's into the field. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. Howe in their black helmets, gray jerseys, black pants, and black numerals on those gray jerseys. Van Alstyne, blue helmets, blue jerseys, blue pants, and white numerals. Quarterback Skipworth backfield, first time, left flat, incomplete. Steve Hawthorne had the left hand up. The football was there, but it was just so driven so hard from Skipworth, he couldn't bring it down with one hand.
That's exactly right. The pass was just thrown so hard, he couldn't control the pass coming down.
That reminds you of some of these pro passes, boy. That's one, if you throw it at your face, you catch it to keep it from injuring you. But for Hawthorne, it was just high and outside, and he couldn't bring it down. 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs, but they're down 4-down territory, really. See, they're at the Van Alstyne 30, 2nd and 10. Split receivers. Motion that time, just sent the fullback down the middle over the right guard over Tony McLean, the center, and Scott Mass, the right guard. Not much of a hole there. Give him pick up a 1. It's going to be 3rd down and 9.
Brian Jackson was in there quickly to close that hole. It was there, and then it wasn't.
The offense for Howe, big kids on that line. They ran an amazing amount of throwing the football. Great for a high school team. Jay Skip for the quarterback. Rolls left, looks for someone to throw, looks down there. Being pursued, throws it way down there. Intercepted by Van Alstyne down about the goal line somewhere. Chris Weatherly with the interception. Intercepted somewhere around the 5-yard line, Jim Cooch.
Yes, he did. The pass was just overthrown. Stephen Hawthorne was out there, and Skipworth just a little bit too long. I don't know whether it was a little miscommunication between quarterback and receiver or whether he just overthrew it.
I'll tell you one thing about it, though. This is better than most punts. Van Alstyne's pinned down about their 5-yard line where mistakes can just wipe you out.
That's right. Howe's defensive club gets tough when you get near that goal line.
Most of them do. 1st and 10, Van Alstyne at their own 5-yard line. Out knows the football. Patrick with him as the quarterback. Has receivers wide left and right. No, just left side this time. Motion across the backfield. There's Beatty. Hand down the middle of the fullback. Very little there for him. Slid across between Tony Shearer, the center, and Brian Morgan, the right guard. Opened a small hole for him. Give him a pickup of about 1. Stopping there was made by Blair Nelson.
Blair Nelson.
A pickup of about 1, 2nd and 9 for Van Alstyne from about their own 7-yard line. We're just underway in a football game. 9:22 to go in this first quarter, and no no score in the game. Van Alstyne and Howe, a very important double-A game in this district here tonight. Van Alstyne now to the football once again. Back switch to the right side, fake to the first man through, hand to Cobre, the second man. Very little is there for Cobre.
Kevin Gray made a good defensive effort that time to plug that hole and bring the ball carrier down.
Cobre with a pickup of just about 2. It's going to be 3rd and 7 for Van Alstyne from about their own 9-yard line. 8:50 to go in this first quarter. No score. As you see, Jim, the flag now's hanging straight down. Just almost no wind at all to affect the flight of the ball.
There's just no wind at all out there, so the quarterbacks are going to have a good night throwing the football.
Beatty, wide right for Van Alstyne. Wago tight on the left side. I formation behind Patrick Williams. Hicks the up man, Cobre the deep man. Williams back there, has time, throws out right down the middle to Beatty, out about the 25, across the 30, 40-yard line, about the 42-yard line. Beatty finally brought down, but a good game there from Patrick Williams to Sean Beatty. Across the 42-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
He broke that first tackle. Wade Carson missed him about 20 yards downfield, and then Jerry Covington had to run him down to save the touchdown that time.
You have to give the credit there. You know, Williams threw the ball. Beatty caught it well, but the offensive line gave him time to throw.
That's right. He wasn't rushed a bit.
1st and 10, Van Alstyne, their own 42. Split backfield behind Patrick Williams, now the quarterback. Roach hands to Cobre on the left side. Very good for Cobre. 2, maybe 3 yards, but I'll tell you what, they're the kind of yard to make knots and bruises on your head.
That's right. Williams and Bray were there. Gray was there. There's just a whole host of tacklers that time.
Boy, that's the kind of run you know about the next morning. You can feel it all over your body. I tell you, having played nose guard and played strong side guard on offense, I still love defense. I love playing nose guard. The little guy usually plays nose guard because of flexibility and movement, and that's a great place to play.
Right. Kevin Gray, our nose guard over there on number 64, does a great job.
Hand to the fullback over the left side this time for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Short yardage in there for Van Alstyne, and good blocking on the left side, but the hole closed very quickly. The ball that time carried for Van Alstyne by Stephen Howard. Stephen backing up the fullback, Hicks.
Norwood and Bray on that right defensive side of the Howe Bulldogs brought him down quickly. Didn't give him a chance to get started.
That's the essence of it. No matter how good the back is, you have to give him some running room, and they didn't give it to him.
Right.
3rd and 6 for Van Alstyne. They're at their own 46-yard line, or just about that. Patrick Williams rolls back to throw, being pursued, gets it away down there, has a man down there, and arched off the outstretched fingertips way down deep for Van Alstyne for one of their deep receivers, and that was Chris Weatherly. Weatherly was down there, but the ball was just too high and outside, and he couldn't bring it in tow. Going to make a kicking down for Van Alstyne.
Jerry Covington was providing the defense that time for the Bulldogs, but he was about a step behind, so it's fortunate for the Bulldogs that the pass was overthrown just a little bit.
But we can already see this is going to be a great football game, because these two bunches of kids love to throw the football. This is going to be exciting. Maybe a long game. Kicking time. Kicker for Van Alstyne steps back. A very high punt. Isn't going to go very far down the field. Going to hit about the 25. Going to bounce, I believe, inside the 20. Down to about the 19-yard line, and Howe's in the football field. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 19. While they have a change of the down, we're going to have a word for our sponsors.
Congratulations, team. Go all the way. Win big. This the message for the Van Alstyne Panthers from Meadowbrook Nursing Home. You're a great team. Meadowbrook Nursing Home in Van Alstyne. Cedar Creek Pet Motel in Howe takes this time to wish the Howe Bulldogs the best of luck. Cedar Creek Pet Motel, saying, "Go Bulldogs, go. Go all the way." Cedar Creek Pet Motel. Magnifab Southwest Company is proud of the Howe Bulldogs. They are really a great school spirit meeting the air, and everyone is excited about the sports this year. Magnifab backs you and hopes you go all the way to the final. That's Magnifab Southwest Company of Howe.
Back we go again. 1st and 10 Howe at their own 19-yard line. 6:35 to go, and this is the first quarter play. No score between Howe and Van Alstyne. Howe out and over the football. As always, the slot backs are wide, left and right, and motion across the backfield goes Covington. Skip to the fullback on the left side. He's hurdled 2 men at the line of scrimmage and went down for about 3 or 4 yards before he's finally brought down. And you talk about individual effort. Clint Bray put the effort in that time.
And Clint Bray will give you 120% every time he touches the football. Jason Hicks caught him as he was doing that little hurdle move there and kind of upended him a little bit, slowed him down, gave the rest of the defense time to close in.
Yeah, finally Stephen Howard and his friends caught up, but not before Bray had picked up 9 big ones, 2nd and 1 for Howe from their own 27-yard line. Jay Skipworth, the quarterback, sends a man in motion from right to left. That's Jerry Covington at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be hit there, but his forward motion might have brought him enough for the 1st and 10, and I do believe it did. If all stands up, it is 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. That time, Jerry Covington just used his momentum. He saw there really wasn't much of a hole there, and there wasn't, but he would just had his head down, and when he hit the line of scrimmage, people went east, which is the direction he wanted to go. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs.
When the Bulldogs run out of that wing with the wing back in motion and pitch to him, it's awfully hard to stop.
It certainly is. That 1st and 10 Howe from their own 32-yard line. Walker in motion from right to left. Skipworth rolls left to throw, has a man out there, and into the hands of the receiver. Let's see if he was in bounds. And the official says, yes, he was. Stephen Hawthorne did the little tiptoe dance, and the referee said he was in bounds. It's 1st and 10 Howe from their own 47.5-yard line. That was a tremendous catch. Stephen Hawthorne was the epitome of concentration on that reception.
That's correct. He just barely had enough room to get those toes down and did that to make that catch good.
See, Billy Holcomb didn't know what I meant by epitome. He'll have to look it up in his dictionary to know what we're talking about. A quick throw on the right flat, a quick line up that time for Skipworth, and he threw it out there. Went in the hands of the receiver and bounced away, and the officials say it was a lateral recovered by the Van Alstyne Panthers. What happened that time, the receiver was ahead of Skipworth, but behind the line of scrimmage, and they said it was a lateral. And then the official said, no, he wasn't. He was behind him, which made it a lateral, so it's a recovery for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
That's right. The receiver, I don't think quite got his momentum going, and Skipworth tried to adjust the last minute to hit him, and ended up being a lateral, and they didn't quite make connections that time.
Van Alstyne 1st and 10 from the Howe 41-yard line. Right is Sean Beatty. Quarterback Williams rolls left to throw, being pursued. Got away from the first man. Here come 2 more. The last minute, Williams throws it out there. It was one of those desperation throws, and the official, there was one of the defensive players right there with the would-be receiver, which is Sean Beatty. He bumped into Beatty, but what the official said didn't make any difference, simply because Matt Cavender was there, but it was uncatchable football, and it certainly was. It was 5 yards over Beatty's head, so it's just a long, incomplete pass. 2nd 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
Boatman was giving Williams all he could handle that time in the backfield. Almost got him and just let him get away from him.
2nd and 10, Van Alstyne at the Howe 41-yard line. Receiver wide right for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Fake the right side. Hand to Colby on the left side. Colby across the 40, down inside the 39, 38, to maybe the 37-yard line. Curtis Colbray, the fine 155-pound senior running back for the Van Alstyne Panthers, moved the ball down to the 37-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 for Van Alstyne from the 37-yard line, Howe's into the football field. 4:48 to go in this first quarter. The score, Howe nothing, Van Alstyne nothing. And a great football game already. Jim Cooch, you may have to do the last half. Comrade's going to run out of voice. I can see this.
It's going to be packed with excitement. We can see that already.
Boy, this is great. High school football at its best. You just can't beat it for wonderful excitement. 3rd and 6 for Van Alstyne. Quarterback Patrick Williams, 2 receivers wide right. Back to throw out in the left flat. But before that play could materialize, flags would have flying, and I think VA might have had too much time in that they did. The Panthers, with too much time that time, put themselves in an embarrassing position. Instead of having 3rd down and 6, now they're going to have a 3rd down 11, and that wiped out a nice pass play.
Sure did. The pass play was completed. Would have been enough for a 1st down had it not been for the penalty.
That's right. The reception by Toby Malone just was no good because the Panthers had taken too much time. 3rd and 11, Van Alstyne. 41-yard line, Howe's into the football field. Wide right, Ryan Jackson. Slot on the right is Stephen Hawthorne. Quarterback Williams back to throw out the right side and almost intercepted by one of the deep men, Matt Cavender of the Howe Bulldogs. The ball was intended for Brian Jackson. Jackson turned to make the reception, and out of nowhere came Matt Cavender with a big left hand. He just slapped the ball away.
If he'd have been there a half step sooner, it would have been about a 60-yard touchdown.
I'll tell you what, boy, if that was put on pro law, that'd be an outright theft. You know, they'd charge that boy. Boy, that was a beautiful, Cavender just timed it perfect. At the last minute, he just slapped the ball down, which prevents a maybe reception at the last minute. Great defensive play by Matt Cavender. Kicking time for the Panthers. Ball's high up in the air, and one of the defensive ball for Howe got there very late. The ball bounced to the defensive play of Howe. Here the receiver, one of the Van Alstyne boys' hands, and he's going to run it in for a touchdown if this stands up. The deep receiver for Howe, the ball bounced off his chest up in the air. The oncoming man for Van Alstyne ran over the football in the air, advanced it into the end zone. But can you advance a fumble in high school football? That is the question. It's my interpretation you can't advance the football, but would that apply to a punt?
It would apply if the ball had ever touched the ground. If he caught it in the air, it was a muff off of the shoulder pad of Covington, and if he caught that ball before it hit the ground, then it would be legal for him to advance it. It would be a touchdown.
But I thought it had touched the ground, but see, again, I'm looking at the guy's number, and I think it actually, the ball actually touched the ground. That it did. So it will be 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from that point, and not a touchdown.
Number 25 made that recovery on the fumble.
That's Sean Beatty. Sean's a very heads-up youngster. And it is going to be Van Alstyne's football, 1st and 10 at the Howe 14-yard line. If this all stands up, we're having momentary hesitation here because the officials are having to discuss what's going on because they're not exactly sure what happened. So officially, one of the boys one of the on-rushing linemen for Howe ran into the kicker of Van Alstyne after the ball was gone. They threw the yellow flag. So we were watching that, and we didn't catch all the action downfield. But the officials say they now have it straightened out. They had to discuss it also. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers, the Howe Bulldogs, 15-yard line. Back to play. 1st and 10 Van Alstyne at the Howe 16-yard line. The recovery of the muff punt. Pitch to tailback Curtis Colby. Turn the corner right side. Hit about the line of scrimmage and tackle down there very hard. A good defensive play from behind there for the Howe Bulldogs by big number 74, Blair Nelson, 210-pound defensive left tackle, and he just buried Colby at about the line of scrimmage. Give him pick up a 1, 2nd down and 9 for Van Alstyne, just inside the 15-yard line, and Howe's in the football field. We're having to inch around here, folks, to see where the ball is, because it's down in the corner we're having trouble seeing. So if you hear some strange noise, don't be surprised. Before the play got underway, the officials called timeout, and I don't know whether the offense for Van Alstyne had set, and yes, they had, and one of the linemen moved. It's going to cost the Panthers 5 yards. Once that lineman takes his three-point stance, Jim Kuntz, he cannot move.
That's correct. I didn't see which lineman it was move, but the field judge did, and that's what counted.
That sure is, because I don't think Van Alstyne's linemen actually realized they'd been called in. They just went down and got it at three-point, and they've committed themselves then. Step over 5. It's going to be 2nd down now and 12 for Van Alstyne, but they're back at the 18-yard line and Howe's in the football field. Split backfield behind Patrick Williams, quarterback. Patrick takes the first man through. Back to throw. Complete out the right flat to Mike Wago, somewhere around the 5-yard line, and I can't see what happened in that corner. Can you?
Yes, he was tackled at about the 5-yard line by number 56, Thomas Stroxtel. Good tackle there. He would have gone in for the touchdown. Mike
Wago with the reception. He caught it about the line of scrimmage, or maybe the 8-yard line, and Jim says he knocked him out of bounds about the 5-6-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 1 for Van Alstyne for the 1st and 10, but they're only about 6.5 yards away from pay dirt. Van Alstyne up north of the football. If you hear strange noises, don't be surprised. The Commodore's moving his microphone. Quarterback Patrick Williams fakes some hands to Colby over the left side. Colby still on his feet at the 5. 4 touchdown for Colby, the tailback for the Van Alstyne Panthers. He would not be deprived. I think 2 or 3 of the boys somehow, Jim, were hanging on him when he got in the end zone.
Yeah, he was hit by 3 players at the line of scrimmage, and there was just sheer determination carrying him that 6 yards into the end zone for the touchdown.
So with 2:57 going this first quarter play, the Van Alstyne Panthers draw first blood in what I think is going to be a play to these touchdowns before the night's over. I'm convinced of that. These teams came to play. Oh, the kids are ready. Jackson do the towing off the hold of Patrick Williams for the extra point for Van Alstyne. Ball's back, down, up. Officials take a look. Their hands go up, and it's good. So with 2:57 going this first quarter play, Van Alstyne 7, Howe nothing. We'll be back after these great words from our fine sponsors. Back to play we go. 2:57 to go in this first quarter play. They score Van Alstyne 7, Howe nothing. Of course, this ball game just still in the first quarter. The wind's picked up a bit now, Jim Koontz, out of the south-southeast. Looks like about 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, still I don't think enough to bother either quarterback, but we do have a little breeze now.
Yeah, and the fans realize it because they're wrapped up in their blanket.
That's
and
right.
we can feel it come through this crack in the wind in front of us, you know. So we've got
Getting a little chillier.
Here's that. Kickoff time for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Sean Bailey kickoff. And we'll let Jim Koontz tell us who the receiver is.
That's Brian Pettit on the reception.
Brian Pettit about the 15, across the 20, 25, about the 30-yard line. He is knocked down hard. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from about their own 30-yard line. They're moving from west to east here at Panther Stadium in this ball game tonight. Great high school football. It's a really tight game in this AA district. It's the Van Alstyne Panthers 7, Howe Bulldogs nothing. But Howe comes out and over the football. They've been in tight games this year. And of course, they throw the football well, and it's going to be fun tonight in this game. Spread receivers, wide, right and left. The quarterback, Jay Skipworth, back to throw. Looks deep, throws it down there deep. Has a man down there, but overthrows him down about the 30-yard line. And Van Alstyne's in the football field. My gracious, Stephen Hawthorne was way down there. But you know what's amazing? Skipworth turned that ball loose from about his own 15-yard line, overthrew the man down to Van Alstyne 30.
Skipworth has an awfully strong arm. He's a very accurate passer. That one was just a little bit too far inside for Hawthorne to make his move to get to the football, but he was open.
55 yards from where he turned the ball loose to where the man was, and he overthrew him 5 yards. That's 60 yards in the air. My gracious. 2nd 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from their own 30. Straight receivers once again. Skipworth goes back, handle to Bray on the right side. Crosses 30, crosses the 40, crosses midfield. Bray still feed down to the 45, 41-yard line, and Van Alstyne's in the football field. Let me tell you one thing. Tony McLean, Scott Nash, and David Beeman, they opened the hole you could run a truck through, and Clint Bray took advantage, and 1st and 10 Howe at the 42-yard line. Van Alstyne's in the football field.
Mike Wiggle made the saving tackle that time. Bray had nothing but green grass in front of him except for number 11, Mike Wiggle.
Oh, man. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. Great football tonight. Once again, Hawthorne wide left. Wing back right on the right side. Skipworth rolls right to throw. Being pursued, gets away to the first man. Cocks the arm and throws it last man. Has it way down there. And defense intercepted once again down deep for the Van Alstyne Panthers. I think in the end zone. No, the referee's going to mark it maybe at the 1-yard line. Let's wait and see. But it's very deep if it's still in the playing field. The referee's going to walk it back out, I believe, about the 1-yard line. Well, Jim, let's watch that because I can't see where he is yet.
Looks like they're bringing the ball back out.
I guess the man must have been in the end zone for the interception. I'm trying to see who the man was that made the interception. I want to think for Van Alstyne. Yes, was it Weatherly?
I believe it was Weatherly.
Very good.
Our angle is not real great from this spot for that spot on the football field, but I believe that was number 17, Weatherly.
1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 20. Beatty in motion from left to right across the backfield. Hand the fullback right up the middle. Very little there for Kevin Hicks, the fullback. Blocking up front, Tommy Shearer, James Daniels, and Brian Morgan, the center and 2 guards respectively. Pick up of about 3 yards, 2nd and 7 for Van Alstyne from their own 23.
Well, Kevin Gray and Troxtel have already been very active for the Bulldogs. They were in on that tackle again, but they always are active on the defensive side.
Patrick Williams, the quarterback for the Van Alstyne Panthers, has them out and over. Mike Wiggle tied on the left side, and White on the right side is the wide receiver. Patrick Williams back to throw. Being pursued, has a man out there and throws it into his hands and complete. Long way out there. The completion there to Chris Weatherly. Weatherly was the slot back on the right side. He went down on the ghost post pattern over the middle, and he went high in there, and he had to go high in there to get that football, but he brought it down. 1st and 10 about the 48-yard line. In Van Alstyne's in the football field. There's a flag lying on the ground where the pass was complete. And I'll just have to wait to see what the official says. I think it might have been pass interference. Yes, it was. It's declined. 1st and 10 from Van Alstyne at their own 48-yard line.
The receiver used his body awfully well that time, screened Skipworth off the football and forced him to come through him a little bit to try to knock the pass down, and got there just a little bit too soon.
1st and 10 for Van Alstyne at their own 48. They're moving from east to west, leading this ball game by a score of 7-0. Over the Howe Bulldogs, 1:15 to go in the first quarter. Williams back to throw again. Has a man a hand on the right side. Into now the hand of the man. That's Cavender. Man had the football in his eye, had the ball in his hand, but just as he got there, the ball just slipped out and bounced away. The next day you wonder, how in the world I possibly missed that ball? I had my eye right on it, right in my hands, but it just bounced away, and it happened to all of us here played good football.
Right. Those are the times you look away from the sideline. You don't want to see the coach at that point in time.
Well, bless his heart, though, he made the defensive play.
That's right. He kept the receiver away from the football.
So the receiver had no chance at that. It's going to be now 2nd and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 48. Patrick Williams, quarterback, fakes the draw, hands on the draw, this fumble, the ball is on the ground. Let's see who recovered it. I think the Howe Bulldogs did, and that they did. That time, Patrick Williams handed the fullback to the fullback the football. The fullback had lost the ball, and Patrick didn't know it till it was too late, and Howe recovered.
That's right. Aaron Bird was alert that time. Everybody had gone by. The quarterback looked back, and the ball was on the ground, but Aaron Bird, the defensive end for the Bulldogs, beat him back to the football.
1st and 10, Howe at the Van Alstyne 42-yard line. And, boy, the breaks have just about equaled out so far in this ball game.
Yes, they have. Ball's bounced back and forth a couple of times now.
1st and 10, Howe at the Van Alstyne 42, receivers wide left and right. Quarterback Skipworth being pursued, throws the ball at the last minute, and almost intercepted by Van Alstyne, but not quite. That time Skipworth threw out of desperation and almost threw the bad one. But the receiver saw he couldn't get up, and he went up and slapped that ball as far away as he could, but Van Alstyne almost got to it, but almost means nothing.
That's right. Toby Malone almost made that pass interception as he was going down. Jerry Covington was fortunate to be able to slap it just an inch too far.
That's right. 2nd and 10 for Howe at the Van Alstyne 42. Receivers wide left and right. Skipworth on reverse from the wingback, reversing from right to left, across the line of scrimmage, inside the 35, down close to the 30-yard line. That time, the running the football that time for the Howe Bulldogs was number 6, Brian Pettit, right, Jim?
Brian Pettit, yes.
Pettit's a senior, 160-pound boy, and a good run. That's what the reverse does for you. If you can get the defense really coming to you and run the reverse, they run right by the ball carrier. That's how it happened. Was there no, they're just going to call timeout, see if Howe made the 1st and 10. The ball's placed about the 32-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. Timeout for the measurement. They're stretching the chains now. 47 seconds to go in this first quarter. Van Alstyne 7, Howe nothing. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs at the Van Alstyne 32-yard line, and be another set of downs for the Van Alstyne Panthers of the Howe Bulldogs. At the Van Alstyne Panther 32-yard line. Wide right, David Cannaday. Wide left, Stephen Hawthorne. Jay Skipworth, the quarterback. On the pullback draw on the right side, Scott Nash and David Beeman open the hole for Clint Bray. He's across the line of scrimmage, inside the 30, down somewhere around the 27-yard line. Pick up about 5.
Yes, Hicks made an awfully good open field tackle that time. Again, Bray had a lot of running room if he doesn't make that tackle.
You know, it's really amazing. They split these receivers out, the Bulldogs do, and this makes your defense split out, and when you do, the blocking in front is simpler.
That's correct. You don't have quite as much congestion up there. You can knock that man out of the path of the running back awfully easy. 2nd 4, throw out in the right flat from Skipworth. The ball was overthrown. I think probably would have been out of bounds had the receiver been able to come up with it, but it was just a long incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd and 4 for Howe at the Van Alstyne 27-yard line. The clock has ticked down to 3 seconds to go in this first quarter. But Van Alstyne leading Howe by a score of 7-0. Once again, David Cannaday wide right. Steve Hawthorne wide left. The slot on the right is Monty Walker. Jerry Covington on the slot on the left. Clint Bray, the fullback. Skipworth back to throw. Looking left, look left, down to the short man. It's down to Stephen Hawthorne about the 20. Hawthorne down around the 15, maybe the 10-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs at that point. Mike Wagle made a good defensive effort for the Panthers. That was the Bulldogs' favorite pass combination, Skipworth to Hawthorne. It's been the most effective combination so far this year.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Howe at the Van Alstyne 11-yard line. We come back to the second quarter play at the end of one. Van Alstyne 7, Howe nothing. We'll be back for the second quarter after some words from some great sponsors.
Stephen Hawthorne did the kicking.
Hawthorne did the kicking out of the hole of Jay Skipworth. Skipworth holds. Ball's a mile high. The officials say it's good. So with 11:55 going this first half of play, the score tied Van Alstyne 7, Howe 7. We'll be back once again after some words from some great sponsors.
Humphreys Construction.
Back to play once again. 11:55 to go in this the first half of play. The score now tied. Howe 7, Van Alstyne 7. Kickoff time for the Bulldogs. Kicking off once again the young man who just kicked the extra point, Steve Hawthorne. Back deep in the middle is Curtis Cobre. On the far side is Sean Beatty. Beatty is on this near side. The ball goes right down the middle to the fullback. Let's see that with the fullback about the 25-yard line. He's going to be knocked down hard. That was one of the up men for the Van Alstyne Panthers, Stephen Howard. Howard running the football back about 6 yards. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 26-yard line. 27-yard line, the referee's going to mark it down. 11:49 to go in this first half. Howe 7, Van Alstyne 7. Van Alstyne with the football, 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line, moving from west to east now. Beatty in motion across the backfield from left to right. Quarterback Williams, hand to the tailback on the left side, across the line of scrimmage, and a good run for 5, 6, 7 yards by Curtis Cobre. Curtis has the strangest way of running. He always looks like he's moving his whole body with motion opposite the way his feet go.
It's got to be hard on a defensive player to try to bring him down because of that. Number 32, Norwood, and number 30, Covington on Howe's side of the ball did a good job that time staying with him, keeping him bottled up.
Pick up a 6, 7, 2nd and 4 for Van Alstyne from their own 34-yard line. Once again, the man in motion across the backfield. Fake the first man, hand the second man. Cobre on the left side. Cobre hit at the line of scrimmage, gets away from the first two men, and pick up just about point for the 1st and 10. Curtis Cobre was hit hard at the line of scrimmage, but he twisted away from the first two men, and the official says 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers from their own 38-yard line.
Clint Bray made that initial hit. He bounced off of Bray, and then Covington, number 30, came in to finish Cobre off that time.
Wide right is Chris Weatherly. High formation behind Patrick Williams, the quarterback. Patrick fakes, wants to roll back to throw. Being pursued, gets away from the first man. Patrick Williams wants to stop and throw. Gets a good block, throws it to the short man. Intercepted by the Howe Bulldogs about the 41 or 42-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. A great defensive play by someone, but it was right in front of the Howe bench. And did you see who it was, Jim?
That was Matt Cavender again. He's come close a couple of times. He finally got him one that time.
Cavender with a great interception for the Howe Bulldogs. It's going to be 1st and 10 Howe at the 41-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. That's what the rush of the linemen for Howe did, because they were making Williams run for his life, and he had to throw the football off balance, underthrew. 1st and 10 Howe at the Van Alstyne 41. Skipworth the quarterback. Receivers wide left and right. Covington most across the backfield. Hand on the left side, flags fly. Just as that play was starting to move, flags went a-flying. I think there could be conceivably a slight delay. No, illegal motion called, again, the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs were called for illegal procedure that time, moves them back 5 yards. They had an opening on the left offensive side. If they had stayed still on that one, a good gain would have been in store for them.
Hawthorne goes out of the game. Well, no, he's just going to split wide on the left side. Receiver tight on the left side is the Jerry Covington. Quarterback Skipworth rolls right to throw. Throws to short man. Good to the short man about the 35, inside the 30. Down to somewhere around the 25-yard line was David Canaday. Canaday got the football, had a man all over him, but he just spun away from that first man and picked up good yardage. The official's going to mark it at the 21-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs.
Well, Mike Wagle was running shoulder to shoulder with him, bumping him all the way down the football field. I don't know how Canaday made the reception, and then he spun away, and Beatty had to come in to make the tackle.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Wide left, Steve Hawthorne. Wide right, once again, David Canaday. Quarterback, Jay Skipworth with his fullback behind him. Skipworth rolls after throws right down the middle, and into and out of the hands of Stephen Hawthorne. Just as Hawthorne got the football, one of the deep men for Van Alstyne just wrapped his arms around him, jerked the football away, and I think that was Chris Weatherly, and yes, it was. Hawthorne had the football, Jim, but Weatherly just stripped the ball from him.
Excellent defensive play, just excellent.
We said this would be a great football game, and certainly it's been no letdown on that point.
Boy, it has been that. The fans are really starting to get into the action, too. It's really exciting.
9:59 to go in the first half. Howe 7, Van Alstyne 7. Draw to the fullback, Bray on the right side, inside the line of scrimmage. Hit about the 10. Going to be contested down to somewhere around the 5-yard line. Was big Clint Bray, the fullback. The 190-pound senior put his big body over the right side over Tony McLean, Scott Nash, and David Beeman. They said, here's the opening, and away he went. It's going to be down close to the goal line. Let's see where the referee's going to mark it. The goal marker, the yard marker, set about 1 yard away from the end zone. It's going to be first and goal for Howe at the 1 yard line. Van Alstyne's into the football field. Skipworth, hands down the left side. The official says it's touchdown for the Howe Bulldogs. With 9:45 going this first half, it's suddenly Howe 13 and Van Alstyne 7. The try for the Bulldogs yet to come.
Congratulations to the Van Alstyne Panthers from the Van Alstyne Veterinary.
Ball right over the left guard that time. The left guard and left tackle just cleared the way through that defensive line, and there was just no opposition there.
Thomas Troxtel, James Neely, Jim Coons told you, opened the door for him, and Bray put it in the end zone. Jay Skipworth to hold for the extra point. Steve Hawthorne to toe. Hawthorne to straight ahead conventional style kicker. Falls back, down, up, good. 9:45 to go in this first half. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 7. We'll be back once again after some words from our great sponsors. 9:45 to go in this first half. Score down. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 7. Kickoff time for the Bulldogs. Hawthorne to kick off from the east 40, kicking to the Van Alstyne Panthers, who are waiting to receive the football down at the west end to move toward the east. Colby, the man in the middle. The up man is Stephen Howard. Beatty, one of the deep receivers also. Before the ball is kicked, there's a momentary hold of, for some reason or another.
Ball wasn't quite to Stephen Hawthorne's liking. He wanted to adjust that angle just a little bit.
Steve Hawthorne just moved the ball just slightly to one side or the other. Said, now, Mr. Official, I'm ready to go. Hawthorne advances on the football. It's going to be a wobbly kick. Going to go once again to the second unit fullback for that's Stephen Howard. Howard took it about the 25, about across the 30, somewhere around the about the 25-yard line, rather than 30. Howard's going to be knocked down hard. Be first and 10 for the Panthers at that point.
Thomas Troxtel put a vicious tackle on him that time. Just took him straight to the ground there. Stopped him dead in his tracks.
Troxtel really is a tough defensive player.
He's the leading tackler on the Bulldog defensive unit, and when he hits you, you know you've been hit.
First and 10 for the Panthers. Blue helmets, blue jerseys, blue pants, and white numerals on those jerseys. Skipworth, the quarterback for looking his opposite on the side, Williams, and Williams hands off to his tailback, counting from left to right, but no. The defense was there in a hurry and stopped him for a short loss. Let's see actually whom that was with that football.
That was number 44, Clint Bray, on the tackle that time.
I think that was probably Kevin Hicks, the fullback with the football that time, rather than Curtis Colbray. A loss of about 1 yard. It's going to be second 11 now for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Patrick Williams, the quarterback, pitched his tailback, Colbray on the right side. Colbray across the line of scrimmage, but hit at the line of scrimmage, and a pickup, maybe the two lost on the prior play. One of the boys from Van Alstyne, a little bit slow getting up. That was James Daniels. James just rolled up and said, I'm ready to go. I think it was probably Brian Morgan.
Matt Cavender's really been involved defensively on this in this ball game so far. He was the only man there on the tackle that time. Made that tackle in the open field single-handed.
Colbray with a pickup of the two lost on the prior down, so it's going to be 3rd and 10 now for the Panthers of Van Alstyne from their own 25-yard line. I formation, no split backfield behind Patrick Williams. Fake to the first man. Williams back throw to the short man, and a good reception out about the point necessary for the 1st and 10. Let's see who that was. Probably Brian Jackson, but I'm not sure. Brian Jackson it was. Brian, 196-pound junior boy. He took the football just across the 35 to the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 38. That was a good reception with 2 men on him.
Excellent reception. Norwood and Covington were both there, and he just went up and took the ball away from him.
Jackson with a good reception for the Panthers. 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne. Beatty wide on the right side. I formation behind Patrick Williams, quarterback. Williams throws back to throw. Has time. Second time he pumps, sends it down there. And into the hands of Beatty, but it just he went in there. A man came rolling across him. Let's see who that one of the deep men.
That was number 7, Wade Carson, in on that defensive effort to break that pass up at the last minute.
What he did, Carson actually didn't interfere with the ball. His body just passed between Beatty and the football and obscured his view just enough for the ball to just disappear.
That's right. He just threw himself in there trying to make the play, whatever it took.
And a good defensive play it was. 2nd and 10 for the Panthers of Van Alstyne from their own 38. I formation behind Patrick Williams, the quarterback. Fakes the first man, hands the second man through. Colby nailed at the line of scrimmage. Let's see, the first man in there, John Norwood really nailed him hard and got an assist in there from someone else. The other person I did not get his number.
That was number 56, Troxel again, on the assist that time.
About the point nest there for the 1st and 10, a little bit short of that, to Mike Waggle. Waggle got the football, but he's going to be about a yard short of the point nest there for the 1st and 10. Waggle got the football, but he got nailed again, and guess by whom?
That was number 56, Thomas Troxel.
Troxel does it at the line of scrimmage. If they play downfield, he does it down there also.
He's all over the football field.
Pickup of 9, 4th and 1 for the Van Alstyne Panthers in kicking time. The kicker, Ryan Jackson, normally for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Let's see who we have down deep. Almost over his head, but he brought it down. It's going to be a high kick. It's going to hit down about the 25-yard line and Howe's in the football field, going to bounce inside the 20. Right about the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. They lead in this football game by a score of 14-7 over the Van Alstyne Panthers with 6:31 to go in this first half of play.
Texoma Radio, KTXO 1500, Sherman Denison.
That was a strange kind of a kick. As it came down, Covington had thoughts about receiving that thing and returning it, but it took a crazy bounce and bounced away from him. He thought better and just decided discretion was the better part of valor that time.
And I think he was right. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from their own 20. Send the man in motion. Walker across the backfield from right to left. Hand to the tailback corner across the right side. He hit the ground. He was hit hard, and the ball bounced at the end. It'd be to the call say the ball was already dead. That's what the official says. That'll be what it'll all boil down to. They say that it was a fumble. It'd be 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. And Howe's into the football field somewhere around the 23 or 4 yard line. Have to wait till the official sets the ball down. Very heartbroken ball carrier for Howe, I think, was Jerry Covington.
That's correct. It was number 30, Jerry Covington. Good run, good pickup. And as he was going down on his back, the ball just popped free.
Did that. 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers from the Howe 24-yard line. I formation behind Patrick Williams, the quarterback. Receiver wide right. Hand to Colby on the left side. Colby hit about the line of scrimmage with that leg drive he has, though. He moved in there for short yardage. Pick up 2, maybe 3 yards. He moved down somewhere close to the 20-yard line. The referee says the 22. Give him a pickup of just a long 1, maybe 2. Call it 2nd down and 8.
Blair Nelson got that big leg, just wouldn't turn loose of it, and then Thomas Troxel was the guy that came in and finally nailed him.
Receiver wide right for Van Alstyne. It's Chris Weatherly. Williams out to throw to Weatherly. Now let's go to the short man, Mike Waggle. Waggle with the short man. He came down and under, got that football somewhere around the 15-yard line, close to the point necessary for the 1st and 10. The official is going to mark the ball just about at that point. Official says 3rd and a half yard for Van Alstyne at the Howe Bulldog 15, 1.5 yard line. 5:24 to go in this first quarter. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 7.
Matt Cavender made that defensive stop just shy of the 1st down. Bulldogs need to come up with a big defensive effort here now.
Waggle tight on the left side. Jackson tight on the right side. Hand to Colby over the left side. Colby scoots over James Daniels and Wade on the left side. They open the door for him. 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne. Out about the 11-yard and Howe's into the football field.
Norwood and Bray closed the door for him, but just didn't get it closed quick enough, allowing him to pick up enough yardage for the 1st down. Panthers are now driving toward the Bulldog goal line.
Wide left for the Panthers. It's the wide receiver, big number 17. He's out there to slot back. Pitch the tailback on the left side. Cobra got his line, block of scrimmage, line of scrimmage, cross line of scrimmage, sound somewhere close to the 5-yard line. Curtis Cobra before he's nailed, and we'll let Jim tell us who made the tackle.
That was number 30, Jerry Covington, on the tackle, and he was the only man who could have made that stop that time on that play. Excellent blocking over on the left side of the offensive line for the Panthers that time. David Wade, James Daniels once again blocking up front for the Panthers. Give Cobra a pickup of 7, second down and a short 3 for Van Alstyne at the Howe 5-yard line. They need to go to the 2 for the 1st and 10. I formation behind Patrick Williams, the quarterback. Before the play could get underway, a flags went a-flying, and Patrick Williams looks very disgusted, acts very disgusted. Now, I think that may cost the Panthers 5 yards down the territory where you don't know. They're signaling offsides again, the Howe Bulldogs. Before the ball was snapped, Howe must have advanced across the line of scrimmage. The nose tackle, our nose guard that time, number 64, Gray, was a little anxious and wanted to get a little bit jump, and he came across and made contact with the center.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 1 for Van Alstyne. 2nd one for the 1st and 10, but they're 4 yards away from the end zone. Patrick Williams, quarterback, pitch to Cobra on the left side. Cobra hit about the line of scrimmage, but he's into the end zone for the touchdown. He had to do it the hard way. Boy, did he take a beating. James Daniels and David Wade and Tom Scher with the blocking. But I'll tell you what, Cobra had to take a beating to get to that end zone, because those tough boys, Williams, Gray, Nelson, and Norwood and Troxel were all there, and they really beat around on his body. But in the end zone for the touchdown to Curtis Cobra, and now it's 14-13. The try for extra point to come.
Bulldog defense always plays a swarming kind of a defense. You can usually count on, once that first man hits you, there's going to be several join to get in on the action.
Tell you what, it looks like they're having a party around that football. He brought all of his friends.
That's right, sure did.
That good gang tackling is what makes defensive plays work and worked well. And there's some discussion after this situation. I don't know what the discussion is, but they just signal offsides again, the Howe Bulldogs, and I don't think they've come to the line of scrimmage yet for the try for extra point. I don't know what they're just telling Howe. That's what the penalty was on the prior play, I presume.
It must have been offsides on the previous play, because they have set the ball up for the extra point.
But Van Alstyne's trying for the 2-point extra point, and they hand it to Cobra once again. Cobra's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. I don't think he made any advance at all, and he didn't. And the score is going to hold. That surprises the daylights out of Commodore that they didn't go for the single point, but the score holds. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13, 3:48 to go in the first quarter play. We'll be back after these words.
Cedar Creek Pet Motel in Howe takes this time to wish the Howe Bulldogs the best of luck. Cedar Creek Pet Motel, saying, "Go Bulldogs, go, go all the way." Cedar Creek Pet Motel.
The Howe Enterprise, serving the Howe and surrounding area, proudly salutes our team, the Howe Bulldogs. Your hometown newspaper, serving the community with community news every week. The Howe Enterprise, backing the Bulldogs and saying, "Win it all, Howe Bulldogs." That's the Howe Enterprise, your hometown newspaper, serving Howe and surrounding areas.
Magnifound Southwest Company is proud of the Howe Bulldogs. They are really a great school spirit meeting the air, and everyone is excited about the sports this year. Magnifound backs you and hopes you go all the way to the final. That's Magnifound Southwest Company of Howe.
Back to play we go. 3:48 to go in this first half. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13. Van Alstyne missed on a 2-point extra point try. The kickoff to the short man for Howe took it about the 25, crossed the 30, 34, 35-yard line. The run out of terra firma to run on, and I believe that was Monty Walker.
I believe you're right. That was Monty Walker on the reception. Then the Van Alstyne Panthers were there just in a hurry.
Stephen Howard, the right linebacker, the fine sophomore right linebacker for Van Alstyne's, limping off to the near sideline. That's going to hurt the Van Alstyne Panther defense. 1st and 10 for Howe from their own 34-yard line. The official just called a momentary timeout to give the Panther Howard time to get off the football field. And Howe said, "Well, you're going to call a timeout, Mr. Fisher. We're going to go back and talk it over again." Now they come back out of their offensive huddle. Skipworth sends David Canada wide right. Steve Hawthorne wide left. Behind him is Clint Bray, the fullback. Motion, hand to Kennedy on the right side. Big hope for Clint Bray. Cross the 40, cross midfield, still on his feet at the 4. Van Alstyne 40, skipped away from the last man. Here's one more trying to chase him. He's going to go all the way into the end zone, standing up for the touchdown with the ball wrapped up in both arms. Great run by Clint Bray. There's going to be a yellow flag lying down here, I do believe, down here about the 41, 42-yard line. And Van Alstyne's into the football field, and one of the boys from Jerry Covington saying, Coach, you better send a man out here to look at this guy. And that's Brian Jackson, the big end for Van Alstyne, was probably the beneficiary of some kind of a block that really threw him a curve. And I think the flag may be for clipping about that point.
I don't know. I was watching the play. David Kennedy is the one that threw that block on Jackson that time. Didn't look like a clip from here, but it must have looked like a clip from down there, because that's certainly what they're stepping off, is 15 yards. Wipes out the touchdown. Excellent run by Bray, and takes that 6 points off the boards, and we go back to play again.
This Clint Bray's a hoss. Boy, he's tough to get off his feet.
He runs with a lot of authority when he has that football in his hands.
Certainly is that. Step off back to the 42-yard line. Van Alstyne's football field. First attempt for the Howe Bulldogs. Jay Skipworth, the quarterback, receivers wide left and right. Slots on each side. In motion is Jerry Covington right left. He's going to get the pitch. Turn the corner on the right side. He's going to be hit about the line of scrimmage, but his bodily forward motion and just sheer power and momentum going to let him pick up 2, maybe 3 yards.
Mike Wagle was the first Panther to arrive. Met Covington there at the corner and held him up just long enough for 2 more of his teammates to come and give him a helping hand.
It's going to be first and 10, and Commodore misunderstood that down then. It's going to be first and 10 for Howe from their own 47-yard line. They're leading this ball game by a score of 14-13. Play once again. Might have missed a little of this ball game. Had a little stoppage to the tape, but we'll get off and going. Skipworth faces a 3rd and 6 from the Van Alstyne 35. Sends Monty Walker in play. Draw to Bray on the right side. Hit at the line of scrimmage, but he kept churning and driving. No, it was not Bray that time. Let's see who that was with the football. And I think for Hal that time with the football was James Boatman.
That was Boatman on the carry. Hampton was the man hitting him at the line of scrimmage, and Boatman just kept churning, moved away from him, and gained an extra 5 yards after that initial hit.
Coaches say keep the legs driving, keep driving. That's what he did. First and 10 for Hal at the Van Alstyne 27-yard line. Skipworth the receivers wide and left. Skipworth rolls left, throws, and into and out of the hands of the short man, Steve Hawthorne.
That was just off his fingertips, just a step too far inside for him that time. He was breaking on the post pattern and was wide open as he made his break.
It'll be 2nd and 10 now for Hal at the Van Alstyne 27-yard line. Wide right this time comes David Kennedy. Skipworth, the quarterback, with Bray, the fullback, behind him. Sends Covington motion from left, right. Skipworth rolls left to throws it down, and has a man down there, and overthrows a man down about the end zone. Let's see who that was intended for. Steve Hawthorne is the man for whom it was intended. And Hawthorne got up pointing at the official, saying, "Hey, Mr. Official, I think they ran into me."
He thought Toby Malone got there just a little quick that time. Wasn't real happy about the call, or the no call on the official's part.
I'll tell you what, it's always nice to have a guy like Jim Kuntz up here, because Jim has thrown those flags down there and failed to throw them. And the officials, I still say, overall, they do a tremendous job.
You bet. 90% of the time, they'll be accurate.
14-13, Hal leads. 57 seconds to go in the first half of play. Hal with a 3rd and 9. Draw to the fullback. The fullback's going to get 4 or 5 yards before the Van Alstyne Panthers can catch up to him. Clint Bray with a short gain. But the clock is moving, and let's see who's going to call a timeout. That's probably going to be the Howe Bulldogs, and that they are. Howe called a timeout with 48 seconds to go in this first half of play, leading by a score of 14-13, and facing a 4th down and about 6 from the Van Alstyne 22-yard line. Do we field goal from this point, Jim?
It looks like Hawthorne's getting ready to attempt a field goal, and he does have enough leg to make it from that distance on the field, so this ought to be interesting.
Certainly will be. See Jay Skipworth setting his tee down. He's going to set it down at about the 29-yard line. The angle's going to be from right to left. Not much of a sharp angle, really. But if it's a good snapback and a good hold, if Jim tells me that Steve Hawthorne has more than enough leg to put this much distance, I just saw Hawthorne do something that's very interesting. Good kickers do these things. They aren't superstitious. He just wanted to know how much the wind was. He picked up a little dust and threw it up in there and looked at the wind.
That's right, checking the wind velocity, wind direction.
Skipworth the hold back, down. Hawthorne puts his toe in and has plenty of distance. Plenty of height, but off to the right and no good. So with 46 seconds to go in this first half of play, the score holds Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13. And be real interesting with just 46 seconds to go in this first half play. Will the Panthers try to come out of there from where they are, or will they just be content to let the time run off in this first half?
I don't know. What they've done well tonight is throw the football, and I fully expect to see them throw it in the last 46 seconds.
Be real interesting to see. Of course, there's an old saying in football, the man who scores last at the end of the first half has the greatest play of the game. It'd be really interesting to see what happens. Williams, the quarterback, has a motion, goes on the right side before the ball snapped. That was one of the up men for Van Alstyne. That's going to cost the Panthers 5 yards. One of the wide receivers just a little bit anxious on that play. So that'll cost the Panthers 5. The ball moved back to the 17-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. And they still with the 1st and 10, but the fact is they're 83 yards away from pay dirt. There's only 46 seconds to go. Howe leading by a score of 14-13. Wide right for the Panthers goes Chris Weatherly. And say what happened before we even got this play underway.
Williams just took the snap, went 2 yards back, and went down to one knee. So it looks like they're going to be content to take this thing into the halftime being 1 point down.
You know, Jim, I have to agree with this. I say there's an old saying in football among coaches, the man who makes the best score of the night is the man who scores just before the first half ends. And Van Alstyne knows the chances really are just as good or better for Howe to score playing defense as it is for them to score playing offense. I think they're smart to let the clock run out.
Yeah, you bet.
Once again, Williams goes back, kneels down on one knee and says, Mr. Official, let's let that clock run us down to 8 seconds and just let it go, tick it right on down. And the clock is ticking down to 0. So at the end of one half of play and what's been a tremendous first half of football, the score at the end of the first half, Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13. Jim and I will be back with the second half in just a few moments.
Jerry Justice.
Well, I don't know. You couldn't have asked for any more exciting action than we had in the first half. The second half, I expect both teams to come out doing what they did in the first half, and that's just throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. Although Howe came alive with a running game there on that second touchdown drive.
Certainly did that, because what you're saying is you don't think it's going to turn conservative on either side.
I don't think so. I don't think either one of these football coaches know what the word conservative means.
But that makes for great, exciting football.
It does for the fans, and for those of us having the opportunity to watch one from the press box and describe the action, it makes a very exciting football game.
Sure does it. But you said that Van Alstyne, they deferred on they won the toss to start the game. They deferred to the second half, and they have chosen since that to receive the second half kickoff and defend the East goal, right?
Right. They're lining up to receive at the east end of the stadium. Hawthorne for Howe is teeing the ball up, cooking, and Howe will be defending the west goal.
And the deep bin for Van Alstyne. Hey, see something you see quite on a football game? We have a dog on the field. And this is as much a part of high school football, seeing a dog on the field. Hasn't been much this lately because they put the big fences around most football field, but you still see it occasionally.
That's right. That's just part of high school football at this level.
It makes it interesting. It gives the officials something more to do. Poor guys have more to do most time anyhow. The deep man is Corbray for the Panthers. This on the near side is Jimmy Patterson, but the ball's going to go to the up man for the Panthers, and it's going to be slammed down hard by Jerry Covington of Howe, caught up with the receiver from behind, and boy, did he get bounced off the ground. That was Justin Parton, a 130-pound sophomore just brought up from the JV, and so it's going to be 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne. They're going to play the football from their own 24-yard line, and the dog is back in the ball game again, folks. He's back. I guess he's going to be on Van Alstyne's side in this quarter.
He's trying to get in that Van Alstyne offensive huddle.
Billy said he thought that was Larry out there, but I don't really think it's Larry. I think Larry's back at home station. 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Patrick Withams, the quarterback, sends Sean Beatty wide left. Mike Wiggle tight on the right side. Hand to Cobre on the right side. Face to Cobre. Williams going to try to run a keeper, and a great defensive play by one of the boys in the black and gray. Let's see whom that was. I have to get that number, and it's very difficult to see Howe's numbers sometimes. People say, "Come on, that's because your eyes are getting old and bad." That may be true. The defensive play did you pick? That was number 22, am I right?
That was number 22. Boatman made that defensive play.
And Boatman...
Excellent defensive effort.
Certainly was that, because had he not done that, Williams had this right side of the field open, but Boatman dropped him for a loss. A loss of about 6 yards. It's going to be 2nd 16. Williams, the quarterback, fakes, going to draw. No, he's not going to draw. He wants to throw. Going to be dropped for a loss, and the ball pops away from him just as he's about to hit the ground. Let's see what happens. Howe has the football. Is it going to be a fumble? Is the only question, I think. No, several of the boys are wrestling with the football. Howe's football at the Van Alstyne, somewhere around the 20-yard line. A great break for the Howe Bulldogs to get this second half underway.
Larry Nelson was the Bulldog on top of that football at the bottom of that stack. And the Bulldogs get an excellent break here to start the second half.
Just underway, 11:08 to go this third quarter. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13, and the Bulldogs with a big break. They staked themselves that break as they went at that football and got it. 1st and 10 Howe at the Van Alstyne 20-yard line. Skipworth has them out. Bray, the fullback, behind him. Receivers wide, left and right. Skipworth rolls right. 10 to the hands of the receivers. No, he held on. I don't know who that was. I think possibly Canada, and one of the defensive people was there with him. And there was a battle for the football. Let's see what they're going to say. The defensive man in that battling was Mike Wiggle. And they say Wiggle took the football away from the receiver, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Van Alstyne at about the 5, and that's what you call battling for the football on both sides.
Well, they were wrestling for that thing. It looked like Wiggle just wanted it a little worse, a little more than that boy from Howe did that time.
Yeah, and I never did see who it was with half of the football. I couldn't. There was 2 people there, and I couldn't see whose number it was.
I believe that was number 45, David Kennedy, on the reception for the Bulldogs.
Well, I thought that was a possibility, but I wasn't for sure, as Jim wasn't. Call it 1st and 10 Van Alstyne from their own 4-yard line. Moving from east to west here, just underway in the second half. Howe 14, Van Alstyne 13. Williams, the quarterback for Van Alstyne, rolls the throw, has a short man and too high and outside. Intended for Beatty out about the 15-yard line, but the ball was just too high and outside.
Well, Williams was having to run around for his life back there. He was nearly tackled in the end zone for safety and was fortunate to get that pass away.
Tell you one thing, both these defensive units aren't letting the quarterback on the other team rest. They're making him run for his life on every play.
He's earning every reception.
It certainly is that. Coming in the lineup now for the Panthers is Kevin Hicks. Comes into fullback slot to the Van Alstyne Panthers. Patrick Williams rolls right to throw, being pursued at the last minute, throws the ball, and almost intercepted out there by Beatty. Again, Beatty about the same spot, out about the 15. The ball was just low and outside, and Beatty couldn't bring it in tow. And once again, Williams was running for his life in the end zone.
That's right. Once again, he had no time to set up, no time to square up. He just had to get rid of the football.
I'll tell you what, also, Jim, the Bulldogs had great coverage downfield on the would-be receivers.
That's right. All those receivers were blanketed that time, and Bulldogs did have good coverage in the secondary.
3rd and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 4. They're trading by a score of 14-13 to the Howe Bulldogs with 10:50 to go in the third quarter. Beatty wide right. Patrick Williams, the quarterback, rolls back a throw. Fakes the draw, hands off the draw, fullback across the 15, across the 20-yard line, about that 20, short of the 20-yard line was a big fullback for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Let's see whom. Did you see who it was with the football?
I believe that was Corbray, number 7, Wade Carson on the stop.
That's right, Corbray with the football, not the fullback. And Corbray picks up a 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers, and an important 1st and 10 that was for the Panthers.
It sure was. He took advantage of the aggressiveness of that Howe defensive line and let them run by and then just hit them with the draw play.
Great call for the coaching unit of Van Alstyne. 1st and 10 Van from their own 18-yard line. Hand to Kobe, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage for a short loss. Oh, the defense for the Bulldogs just came roaring in there. And see, part of them probably getting off that stack was Clint Bray.
That was Clint Bray and Williams, Daniel Williams, in on the stop that time.
So the ball carrier for Van Alstyne, about a 1-yard loss. It'll be 2nd 11 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. They're playing it from their own 17-yard line. They trail Howe by a score of 14-13 with 9:55 to go in this third quarter. Kevin Hicks comes out of the fullback slot again, lipping slightly. Quarterback Williams rolls right to throw, needs a block, doesn't get it, but complete out the right flat to Brian Jackson. Jackson got the football, one of the deep men for Howe got him. But not before he picked up a good gain. Out close to the point necessary for the 1st and 10. No, he did not. It's pickup of about 6 of the 6 and 4, pickup about 10, but it's going to leave Van Alstyne with a 3rd and 6 from their own 22-yard line.
That was Cavender out there on the defensive work again. He's had a battle at that corner all night long.
Patrick Quedam with the receivers wide on the right side. Williams rolls back to throw. Has time, goes to throw. And the short man, Brian Jackson, out about the 30-yard line, got the football, turned down just he did. Once again, that big number 56, Troxtel, was back there to knock him down hard. Troxtel is a great defensive player, and he's all over that football field. Jim told me he would be.
Yes, he's been inside, outside. He's been in the middle of the pile. He's been back on pass defense. He's just been all over the football field tonight.
1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from their own 30-yard line. They trail Howe by a score of 14-13 with 9:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Patrick Williams, quarterback. Beatty right. Before the ball is snapped, one of the boys from Howe jumped across the line of scrimmage, but the question is, was he drawn offsides? Let the officials make that decision for Jim and I. And they say drawn offside, 5-yard step off again. The Van Alstyne Panthers will be the next act of this play here in the 3rd quarter.
That was the left end that time for the Panthers. A little bit anxious. Took just that little bit of rocker step backwards, but that was all it took.
That'll be 1st and 15 now for Van Alstyne. Quarterback rolls left to throw, going to be pursued and hit before he can get the ball away. At that time, Williams saw the defensive man coming, and he just pulled the ball down, wrapped both arms around to make sure he didn't lose it.
I believe that's Boatman on the sack that time. He was back there just almost as quickly as Williams got back to set up.
Certainly was that. They had a 2-man rush coming, and there weren't enough blockers to pick him up because the receivers are all downfield. A loss again. It's going to be 2nd down now. And the ball is on the 18. They need to go to the 41, so that's about 22 or 23 yards to go. Quarterback Williams has one running back behind him. He rolls back to throw, fakes the draw, hands on the draw. Then Cobre with the football across the line of scrimmage up to somewhere around the 22 or 23-yard line. Nowhere as close to the point necessary for the 1st and 10. As Curtis Cobre runs out of yardage that time, it's going to be 3rd down and a bunch.
3rd down a bunch. Jerry Covington was there. Wasn't fooled by the draw play and was there to meet him as he came across the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 17. Kevin Hicks come back into the lineup for the Panthers. He'll come up in the I formation as the up man. Sean Beatty wide right. Patrick Williams the quarterback. Fakes the draw, rolls right to throw, has time for the last minute, throws it down deep. And that time, Brian Jackson looked back for the football. When he did, it broke his stride, and the ball was just overthrown by the length of that broken stride. And just a long, incompleted pass. It's going to be now 4th and 17 for the Van Alstyne Panthers in kicking time.
Well, Matt Cavender was, again, dogging Jackson all the way down the field. He was step for step with him and just didn't give Jackson that little extra he needed to break to the football.
Hey, one thing, Brian Jackson, number 81 for Van Alstyne, is a fine receiver. He catches the ball very well.
Well, he does. He has all the tools necessary. He's big, he's strong, and he looks like he's pretty quick out there.
Certainly does. Jackson will be back to do the kicking, gets a high snap, brings it down. Going to be a high ball, going to hit down about the Howe 42 or 3-yard line. Going to bounce dead right there. Curtis Cobre was there to pick it up just to make sure Howe didn't return it. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from their own 42. They lead in this ball game by a score of 14-13, 7-19 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we have an excellent 3rd quarter underway. The Bulldogs now need to mount an offense, keep their hands on that football, and need to protect that ball a little bit better in traffic than they did in that last drive.
Had several fumbles, several drop passes. You think this first really cool night of football might be affecting the kid just a little bit?
Well, you never can tell what that football is going to feel like on those cold hands.
Skipworth with the 1st and 10, hands it fullback on the left side, hit about the line of scrimmage. They're going to be dropped there, just about the line of scrimmage. Defense arrived. Clint Bray just had no opening there. The blocking wasn't there, and Clint went down about the line of scrimmage.
Daniels for Van Alstyne was right there. He wasn't blocked by any of those offensive linemen, and he was just there to say hello to Mr. Bray when he met him right there at the line of scrimmage.
You don't get Clint Bray off his feet very often at this place you hit him. 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Bray still the lone running back. Behind the quarterback, Skipworth. He rolls left to throw. Has time, throws it to the short man, but way outside and high. Intended down about 15, 20 yards from Steve Hawthorne, but the ball was 5 yards to Steve's left and way over his head to boot.
And Stephen looked back that time toward the line of scrimmage as if to say, no, I'm up here.
yeah, you threw the football to the wrong guy. I'll tell you what, so far it's just been a superb football game. And just listen to the comments half. By the way, the Howe band and drill team did a fabulous halftime show. It's going to be 3rd and 10 now for the Bulldogs at Howe. Skipworth is quarterback. Wants to pitch to Stephen Hawthorne, rolling right. Stephen looks downfield. He says, I got room. Stephen across the 50, hit about the 46-yard line. Van Alstyne's into the football field, and out of bounds he goes. But boy, oh boy, he actually, I think, was going to try to pass the football downfield. When he looked on the right side, there was no defensive player there. He said, man, I've got room to run, and he did.
Yes, he did. He had that football up. He was looking downfield at David Canada and looked like a little razzle-dazzle starting there, but he thought better of it and decided he could pick up that first down on his own.
Well, I'll tell you, just as he arrived at the place he was eventually tackled, Mike Waggle, he saw Hawthorne coming, and Hawthorne just lowered his head, and boy, he really hit Waggle hard. But all ended right there. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs at the Van Alstyne Panther 46. Pitch to the tail, fullback on the left side. Couldn't cut there, so goes back to the right side. Going to be hit about the yard across the line of scrimmage. He's going to pick up 3 or 4. That time, Bray surprised me somewhat. He's come to his left. He saw there was nothing at all there for him. He made a very quick cut back to his right and picked up some 3 yards from what could have been a loss.
That's right. There was just nothing there. Made a very wise decision to cut that ball back to the right. Mike Waggle was there and was able to make the stop, but only after a 3-yard pickup.
3rd and 7 for the Bulldogs. Splash out in the right flat, but Skipworth threw the ball really behind the would-be receiver, Steve Hawthorne. Steve Hawthorne had no chance to get that football. Now he and Skipworth are having a little visitation. I think Skipworth may have been telling him that he turned the wrong way. Was that Hawthorne for whom that was intended? Or
that was David Canada out there on that side that time, and he and Skipworth did have a little bit of a discussion going back to the huddle.
Right. I guess Skipworth might have told him he went the wrong way, but incompleted pass, and Skipworth's going to roll left to throw. Has time. Now he's being pursued, but he's going to turn it downfield, throw to the short man. Hawthorne down the 40, round about the 30-yard line. He's going to finally be knocked down inside the 30, about the 28-yard line. Van Alstyne's in the football field. 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs.
That was Seth Stinton, number 19, 150-pound freshman in the football game now, playing defense and making that tackle for the Panthers.
That's a big demand on a freshman boy.
Boy, it sure is. Just welcome to varsity football.
And it's tough, particularly against a fine team like the Howe Bulldogs. That's tough. 1st and 10 for Howe at the Van Alstyne 28-yard line. Skipworth has him out and over. Sends a man in motion right to left as Walker. Hand to Bray on the right side on the draw. Bray guts it outside. Wants to make a dodge with the flash man, and he got away from him. Bray still on his feet inside the 20-yard line. Somewhere around the 19, he's finally wrestled out of bounds. But he left one guy wondering, what happened? Where'd he go?
He just stepped right away from that would-be tackler. Stepped right around him and left him nothing but air to tackle.
Yeah.
Scott Nance made an excellent block over there on the right side to open that hole to let Bray make that fine offensive run.
The yellow little handkerchief on the field meant there was going to be a 5-yard step-off again. The Howe Bulldogs were going to wipe out that good gain and add a 5-yard penalty on top of that. You can call that nothing but a 15-yard penalty. They picked up 10 big ones. They're going to come back to the initial point and add 5 to that. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty the way you want to look at it. You know, a lot of times we observers don't really realize the significance sometime of a penalty. It isn't just the 5 yards penalized. It's what you might have lost to go with the penalty.
Right. Oftentimes it's that crucial penalty that'll just kill a drive, too.
Canada goes wide right on the 1st and 15 now, but they're at the Van Alstyne 32-yard line. Covington in motion from left to right. Out in the right flat, 2. Covington got the football, got away from the first man to get picked up 5, and going to be nailed about the original line of scrimmage is Jerry Covington. Covington's picked up 4, maybe 5 yards. Just have to see where the referee is going to mark the forward motion.
It was a good effort on Covington's part that time. He was hit once, then hit twice. It finally took 4 Van Alstyne Panthers to bring him to the ground.
Coming out of the defensive set is Brian Jackson for Van Alstyne. Coming in instead is Tommy Scherer. Tommy Scherer playing at defensive left end. 2nd and 11 for the Howe Bulldogs. Skipworth on hand on the reverse, reversing from right to left as the big wing back, and he gets good yardage all the way some down around the 10-yard line. I think that time with the football, I'm not sure, but I'm going to say for the Howe Bulldogs, that might have been Matt Cavender, was it?
It was number 6, Brian Pettit.
Yes, it was. Pettit, sure was.
And there's a flag down on the play. It looked like someone got a bit of a face mask as they were taking him down.
Let's see. Officials are going to mark off more yards again. The Van Alstyne Panthers. A stop was made somewhere around the 9. There's going to be a step off on half the distance to the goal line. It's going to give the Howe Bulldogs 1st and goal at the Van Alstyne Panther 6-yard line approximately. 1st and goal from the 6 for the Howe Bulldogs. Howe leads by a score of 14-13 over the Van Alstyne Panthers, and they're threatening to put more points on the board. 3:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. Skipper with his troops out and over, sends in motion from right to the left. Walker, hand to Bray on the left side. Bray's got the room. He hit about the line of scrimmage and picked up 1 or 2 yards. The hole was there, but very quick the defense for Van Alstyne moved to him and dropped him. And Bray a little bit slow getting up this time.
Well, Bray oftentimes when he's hit on the line of scrimmage like that will get up slow, but he just gets up that way. He's really not hurt all that bad.
Jerry Covington goes to the far sideline, and Bray is going to go out this time. Hal calls a timeout, and we're going to call a time in for some of our great sponsors.
Umphris Construction is proud to support the Van Alstyne Panthers and urge them on to victory. You're a great team. This message from Umphris Construction Company of Van Alstyne. 21 years in the business. Overhead door of Sherman and Dennison, 316 West Chestnut says if your garage door breaks, falls apart, or just needs attention, repairs, and maintenance, give us a call at 463-2083 in Dennison, or in McKinney, 545-1111, in Denton, 383-3310, in Greenville, 455-3007, and in Paris, 785-0700. Overhead door of Sherman and Dennison. Our slogan says, we sell the best and service the rest. Call Bob R. Scott at 463-2083 or come by Overhead Door of Sherman and Dennison at 316 West Chestnut, Dennison. Anderson Texaco says if you want service, then you want Anderson's Texaco in Van Alstyne. Open 24 hours for the past 20 years to serve you. They feature good Texaco gas and products. Saluting the Van Alstyne Panthers.
2nd and 6. The 6-yard line. Skipworth and throw out in the flat to Covington. Covington got the football about the line of scrimmage in the end zone for the touchdown.
That was a very nice offensive call. They split the defense. Defense was looking for Bray again coming up the middle. Instead, the little flare pass to the wing back as he went in motion, and touchdown, 6 points for the Bulldogs.
Well, Skipworth put the ball only place it could be complete, and that was right over Covington's left shoulder. The ball just dropped softly in there. Covington turned to break the ball. As he turned in the end zone, the defense for Van Alstyne was there, but he was already within 2 steps of the end zone and wrestled his way in there for the touchdown. Score moves out 20 for Howe, 13 for Van Alstyne. The try for extra point to come off the hold of Jay Skipworth and the kick of Steve Hawthorne. It's high, it's up, has plenty of distance, and it's good. 3:31 to go in this 3rd quarter. Howe 21, Van Alstyne 13. We'll be back once again after some words from our great sponsors.
Congratulations, team. Go all the way. Win big. This the message for the Van Alstyne Panthers from Meadowbrook Nursing Home. You're a great team. Meadowbrook Nursing Home in Van Alstyne. The Howe Bulldogs are a terrific team, and M&M Place is among the vivid supporters and fans. They want you to win and hope you go all the way to the top. M&M Place in Howe, the place to go before and after the game for good food. M&M Place in Howe.
Hi, this is KTXO's official meteorologist, Bill Evans. For the latest and most accurate weather forecasts in Sherman, Dennison, and Texhomaland, join me here each weekday as I'll have the forecast you need to plan your day. And when severe weather strikes, tune into KTXO for the latest news and up-to-the-minute forecast. If the weather changes abruptly on weekends, you can get the details right here. Get the official weather information you need each day from KTXO 1500 AM.
With Howe now leading Van Alstyne by a score of 21-13 and 3:31 to go in this third quarter, and the Howe Bulldogs prepare to kick off again. Steve Hawthorne will do the kicking. Back deep to receive for the Panthers. In the middle is Corbray. On the near side is Jimmy Patterson. And on the far side is Kevin Hicks. And in the middle is a young man who plays a much important part in the Van Alstyne Panther football game, Brian Jackson. Jackson's just a junior, but he is one fine football player. Hawthorne is going to advance on the football. It's going to go to Corbray at about the 5. He heads up the middle, heads the north sideline, heads across the 20. Jackson, Corbray at the 30. Corbray going to be ridden out of bounds somewhere around the 40-yard line. Curtis Corbray with his speed and leg drive put the Panthers in good field position with a 1st and 10.
Had awfully good blocking on the right side, set up the wall, in fine fashion for Corbray to run behind. Stephen Hawthorne, the kicker, was the last man between him and the end zone, and was able to make that tackle on the sideline.
But there was a yellow handkerchief lying back at about the 25-yard line or 24-yard line in Van Alstyne's end of the football field. That's going to cost the Panthers probably 15 yards. There's 5, and there's 10. And there's 15 big ones. Oh, that yellow handkerchief on the run back, clipping called against the Panthers. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne from that point.
Again, as you said earlier, the 15 yards is not all of that penalty. They lost 15 from the point of the foul, but they were 10 yards behind the ball carrier where that foul occurred.
That's for sure. 1st and 10 for the Panthers from their own 11-yard line. The play up the middle goes a little sophomore. He's across the line of scrimmage, out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line for the Van Alstyne Panthers. That's a young fellow just brought up from the junior varsity, Justin Parton, 130-pound sophomore. I'll tell you one thing, he didn't look like sophomore. When he saw the would-be tacklers coming, he wrapped both arms around that football, Jim.
He sure did. He was protecting the football. Wade Carson, pretty good lick on him, but he was able to hold on.
It's going to be 1st and 10 now for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Patrick Williams, quarterback with a man wide to the right side. Fakes in the middle, throws down the right flat to Jackson across the 30. Jackson across the 40, about the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 once again for the Panthers. Brian Jackson's a husky-built young man. Brian Jackson looks more like a guard than he does a wide receiver, but he has good speed and great hands.
He has good speed, good hands, and he has good moves in the open field. Jay Skipworth at that time had to make the tackle after the first defender had missed him because he just juked him right out of his shoes there.
1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers from their own 46. Pitch to Corbray on the left side. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and going to be wrestled down about the line of scrimmage. Defense in there for the Bulldogs slowed him down back in the deep secondary. Norwood hit him, but he spun away from Norwood, but Norwood slowed him down to slow his momentum, and that let the tackle be pursued and made by the rest of the Bulldogs.
That's right. If it had not been for that hit by Norwood, he had a lot of blockers in front.
It's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Panthers from their own 46. Sean Beatty comes out of the lineup, and coming in his stead is Chris Weatherly. Quarterback wants to throw, has Weatherly down there, but overthrows him about the length of the arm. Boy, the defense for Howe, I see who that one is really giving a hard time, and that was Kevin Gray, the nose guard for Howe. Really unloaded on Patrick Williams just as he threw that football, but it didn't interfere with the fly of the ball. The receiver was just overthrown.
He was just overthrown. Matt Cavender also down there on defense. Had as much of a shot at the reception as the offensive man did, but just overthrew both of them.
It's going to be now 3rd and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Quarterback rolls left to throw, going to be pursued and maybe dropped. No, at the last minute he throws it out there, and almost it might have been an intercept. Intercepted by one of the Howe Bulldogs about their own 45-yard line. He just literally outjumped the would-be receiver. Let's see whom that was with a football.
That was number 16, Matt Cavender, once again, playing excellent defensive football tonight for the Bulldogs.
I don't know who was intended for. I did not get the number of the intended receiver, but the young fellow just outjumped him.
Yes, he did. That was Brian Jackson, the intended receiver that time. He's been a favorite target of Williams tonight, and he and Cavender have gone at it all night long. That time, Cavender won the battle.
1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from their own 46-yard line. They lead in this ball game by a score of 21-13 with 1:39 to go in the third quarter, and they have a 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Send Hawthorne wide left, Canada wide right. Motion across the backfield is Walker. On the draw to Bray. Bray's going to be hit about the line of scrimmage. Gets away from the first man. Across the line of scrimmage. Across the 40. Across the 35. Inside the 30. Going to be hit about the 20-yard line. Somewhere about that point by Sean Beatty. But Bray dragged Beatty for another 3 or 4 yards. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. They're at the Van Alstyne Panther 23-yard line.
Bray did most of that work on his own that time. He must have broken 6 or 7 tackles on his way down the field. Excellent run, good gain, great position now for the Bulldogs.
He actually got inside the 20, but they said he stepped out at the 22. Wide left, Hawthorne. In motion, Covington from left to right. On the draw play, reversing from right to left, and he's going to be turned inside. That's a young man, the little youngster wearing number 6. Brian Pettit. He is hit at the line of scrimmage, but he was determined and moved in there for good yardage.
Toby Malone and Chris Weatherly both had to join up on the tackle that time. Good gain.
Pettit's a little stiff going off the field that time because he really got hit hard, and they finally brought him down, but he picked up good yardage. It's going to be 1st and goal for Howe at the Van Alstyne 8-yard line. Wide right, Canada. Wide left, Hawthorne. Motion, Covington left to right. Hand to the fullback, Bray in the middle. Bray got 3, maybe 4 yards before the defense for Van Alstyne was able to catch up with him.
As the Bulldogs are beginning to run a lot of misdirection plays, and that's keeping the Van Alstyne defense just enough off balance to give those running backs a yard or 2 head start and good break.
Bounds. It'll be a long incomplete pass. With that, the third quarter comes to an end. The score after 3 quarters of play, the Van Alstyne Panthers trailing the Howe Bulldogs by a score of 21-13. A great 3 quarters of football and a big finale came up ahead of us. We'll be back after, once again, some great words from wonderful sponsors.
Cedar Creek Pet Motel in Howe takes this time to wish the Howe Bulldogs the best of luck. Cedar Creek Pet Motel, saying, "Go Bulldogs, go, go all the way." Cedar Creek Pet Motel.
The Howe Enterprise, serving the Howe and surrounding area, proudly salutes our team, the Howe Bulldogs. Your hometown newspaper, serving the community with community news every week. The Howe Enterprise, backing the Bulldogs and saying, "Win it all, Howe Bulldogs." That's the Howe Enterprise, your hometown newspaper, serving Howe and surrounding areas.
Congratulations to the Van Alstyne Panthers from the Van Alstyne Veterinary Clinic. Go team all the way. You have a fine school spirit and deserve to win. This message of support from the Van Alstyne Veterinary Clinic. Check with us when you need pet service or livestock need attention. We can help you with your needs. Call 482-6603, Van Alstyne Veterinary Clinic.
David Kennedy, number 45, for the touchdown. Number 11 was on the defense, Mike Wagle, but he got there just a step late after Kennedy had caught the ball in the end zone for the 6 points.
David Kennedy for the touchdown for the Howe Bulldogs to move that leg out now to a 27-13 lead. Try for extra point to come. Hawthorne to toe, Skipworth to hold. Falls back, it's down, it's up. The official has not signaled yet, has he?
Yes, he did signal that the kick was good, and that brings us now to 28-13.
28 for the Howe Bulldogs, 13 to Van Alstyne Panthers, 11:56 to go in this fourth and final stand of this football game, and we'll be back after, once again, some words for some great sponsors.
Magnifab Southwest Company is proud of the Howe Bulldogs. They are really a great school spirit meeting the air, and everyone is excited about the sports this year. Magnifab backs you and hopes you go all the way to the final. That's Magnifab Southwest Company of Howe.
The Wayne C. Pipe Sales Auction is this Saturday, 8 miles north of Durant, beginning 11 a.m. next to the Caddo Livestock Commission, selling an 84 Ford single-axle tractor truck, air brakes, excellent condition, Champ all-terrain forklift, diesel, lifts 20 feet high, good shape, 8,000 Yade all-terrain forklift with cab, super good shape, 83 GMC 4 WD pickup, excellent condition, shop made, 32-foot gooseneck flatbed trailer, a 43-foot drop deck trailer with dovetail, loading ramps, and 22.5 rubber truck loading ramp, one 5 by 8 foot two-wheel trailer, a 14 by 20 foot all-metal building skid mounted, and a 16 horsepower Lincoln gasoline welder. Just a few of the items, too numerous to mention, at the big auction, selling wire, gasoline welders, Bostic air nail guns, and much, much more at the Wayne C. Pipe Sales Auction this Saturday, beginning 11 a.m., 8 miles north of Durant on highways 69, 75, next to the Caddo Livestock Commission. Don't miss it this Saturday, beginning 11 a.m., the Wayne C. Pipe Sales Auction.
Back to play we go. 11:56 to go in this contest. Howe leading the Van Alstyne Panthers by a score of 28-13 in kickoff time once again for the Howe Bulldogs. Steve Hawthorne to do the towing. Jim, we had a great football game up to now.
It's been everything we expected and more.
Jim Coons up here with the Commodore tonight, along with Billy Holcomb. Billy is our statistician and official engineer. But he's been letting me down tonight. He's visiting a lot, though. Nothing wrong with that. Kickoff time for the Howe Bulldogs. Leading by a score of 28-13 now with the Van Alstyne Panthers. 11:56 to go in the game. Deep kick. Bounce to Beatty at about his 10. Bounce Beatty somewhere around the 20-25 yard line before he's knocked down. See where the officials are going to mark it. I think right on the 20. That's where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers from their own 20-yard line. Van Alstyne moving from west to east here in this 4th and final stanza. Now trading this ball game to the Howe Bulldogs by a score of 28-13. And Williams out quickly with his offensive set ready to go. Receivers wide, left and right. Beatty sets up the slot on the right side. Williams back to throw. Out in the right flat, into and out of the hands of one of his would-be receivers that time in the person of Chris Weatherly. Chris got that football, but Patrick had just a little bit too much mustard on it that time, and Weatherly couldn't bring it in tow. But with no huddle, Patrick Williams said, "We're ready to go again." Sets Beatty and slot on the right side once again. Back to throw. Out in the left flat this time, and I can't see if the ball was completed, or was it?
It was completed to number 11.
Mike Waggle with the reception.
It was a very short gain and caught the ball right off his shoe tops.
It's going to be 3rd and 6 now for Van Alstyne from their own 24. Van Alstyne trading by a score of 28-13 to the Howe Bulldogs. 11:21 to go in the contest. Williams out right flat. The ball was tipped just after Williams turned it loose, and it was underthrown to the would-be receiver. And just the receiver had no time to pick that football out of the air because it was hit and sent into a kind of a sloppy orbit, and that's going to run the Panthers out of bounds.
Beatty was trying to draw a beat on that football, but it was deflected off its course. I couldn't see which one of the Bulldog linemen got it, but he got his hand up and just got a piece of the football.
That's going to be kicking time. Jackson back to toe. Gets the punt. It's going to be a high punt. Not going to go very far downfield, but it's going to be taken about midfield by one of the deep men, Jerry Covington for the Bulldogs. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs at midfield.
Well, the Bulldogs are in a crucial position right now, Commodore. If they take the ball in for another touchdown, that's going to put an awful lot of pressure on that Van Alstyne offensive unit.
Well, the Van Alstyne in a position where you have no choice but to gamble now when you're down by 15 points and just 11 on line to go in the football game. Wide right for the Bulldogs comes David Cannaday. Steve Hawthorne wide left, Skipworth with his fullback Clint Bray behind him. fakes the pitch. Skipworth rolls left to throw. Has a man down there, throws the ball, and overthrows the would-be receiver Hawthorne down about the 10-yard line. Running shoulder to shoulder with Hawthorne on that play. The defensive coverage there.
As Weatherly and Malone were running right with Hawthorne, they weren't fooled at all about the play action in the backfield, and so that made Skipworth have to throw the ball a little long to try to let Hawthorne have room to run under it, and just threw it a little too long.
Tell you one thing, it shows that Coach Jim Fryer has great faith in his blocking of his offensive line, the throwing of his quarterback, and the catching of his receivers.
Right, he has the number one quarterback in the area with Jay Skipworth.
Draw to Bray on the right side. The blue got him about the line of scrimmage. It was still by sheer strength and determination picked up 3, maybe 4 yards.
Mike Weigel's name's been called an awful lot tonight. He was once again in on that tackle, joined by Patterson. We have an injured Panther on the play.
One of the boys from Van Alstyne shaking up. We're going to remind you it was 10:48 to go in this football game. Howe 28, Van Alstyne 13. We'll be back after some fine words from one of our great sponsors.
Butch's Garage, 105 Waco in Van Alstyne salutes the Van Alstyne Panthers for major or minor engine parts, complete one-stop service. Good prices, quality parts. The parts you buy are only as good as the one who sells them to you. Butch's Garage in Van Alstyne, saluting the Panthers. Northland Cable of Whitewright is proud of all the youth into school sports and says congratulations to both teams, Howe and Van Alstyne. May the best team win. Plan now for the finest entertainment. Call Northland Cable for HBO, Cinemax, and many channels.
This is 1500 for news. KTXO, Sherman Denison.
Brian Jackson was the Panther shaken up. He's brought to the sideline. He walked off under his own power. 3rd and 6 for the Bulldogs. Skipworth rolls left to throw. Being pursued, but gets away, throws the ball into the hands of Hawthorne down about the 39-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. Let's see if it all stands up, and it does. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs at the Van Alstyne Panther 39-yard line. Spady, excuse me.
I was just going to say Skipworth was under a lot of pressure that time, was fortunate to get the ball away, but Hawthorne was alert enough to come back to the football and give his quarterback a target.
Skipworth with his 1st and 10, hands to Bray. This time, Bray hit the line of scrimmage, slides to the right side, and is going to pick up some yardage. That time, Bray went to the left side where the hole was supposed to be. It wasn't there. Bray, with his experience and his strength and quickness, just moved outside on the right side and picked up 4, 5, maybe 6 yards. It's going to be a pickup of 7 yards, 2nd and 3 for the Howe Bulldogs at the Van Alstyne Panther 32-yard line. Bulldogs out and over the football. Skipworth fakes up the middle, on the draw to the little man, countering from right to left.
Brian Pettit on the carry that time. A good call. Again, the Panthers are keying on Bray when the Dogs are running the football, and a little misdirection got all of the defense moving to their left and then handed the ball back to the offensive left, which goes defensive right, and the Panthers just had to recover to make that tackle to prevent a touchdown. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Van Alstyne Panther 24-yard line. Pettit doesn't look to be a 160-pounder, but that's what he shows on the program. Pitch to Covington, sweeping from left to right. He turned into the line of scrimmage, picked up 4, 5, maybe 6 or 10 yards. Covington really had a head up of steam, and when he turned downfield, he ran by some people before they realized he was hardly there, and he picked up more than enough for the 1st and 10. Great run by Jerry Covington, and once again, the sweeping from left to right makes the defensive people reverse in their direction, and that picked up good yardage. Yes, it did. Scott Nass threw a crushing block on Morgan that time to allow Covington to cut back to the middle of the field to pick up that good yardage. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. This time, Walker in motion from right to left, and the ball out in the left flat. And let's see what occurred out there. Receptions made out there by Walker. A pickup of only about 4 yards? About 4 yards. Corbray had to make the stop that time. He and Walker on a good battle out there as they were battling for the goal line. Corbray said it's mine. Walker said it's mine. And they ended up a little short. It's going to be 2nd and 6 now for the Bulldogs.
pitch to, once again, this is going to be Hawthorne counting from left to right. He's going to be hit back behind the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss. This defensive play that time for the Van Alstyne Panthers made by Mike Waggle.
Good defensive effort. Hawthorne had 2 blockers out in front. Waggle just wouldn't be blocked. He cut behind the block, back behind the wall, and took Hawthorne down back for a good loss.
The loss is going to be a loss of about 4. The ball is going to be back at the 14-yard line, and Van Alstyne's into the football field. It's going to be 3rd and 14 for Howe from that point. Skipworth rolls left to throw, has time, throws out in the left flat, and at the last minute, the ball was slapped away. A good defensive play out there in the secondary by Chris Weatherly, the left cornerback for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
That pass was intended for Stephen Hawthorne. Again, that's Skipworth's favorite receiver, and a good defensive play there to prevent the touchdown.
Tell you one thing I want to comment on right now. We haven't commented tonight. This is a great pressure game between 2 great high school teams. An old-time rivalry, and we've had absolutely no extracurricular activity.
That's right. It's been a very clean-played ball game. Been a very hard-hitting ball game, but all the action's been clean so far.
That's been a compliment to this 2 bunches of kids and fine coaches and good school system. Try for the field goal. Ball back, down, block, and the ball's going to be picked up by Skipworth, and Skipworth is going to advance the football down maybe to the, around the 4 or 5 yard line. Can you see where the play ended up, Jim?
Yes, Skipworth just missed going in. He's at about the half-yard line. He was stopped there by Beatty.
But that was put out of bounds, but they had to go to the end zone because they, right? The chain.
That looks to be the case. It looks like it's going to be Van Alstyne football at about the half-yard line.
So the Van Alstyne Panthers take over the football, but at the half-yard line, boy, you wonder sometimes, did I do myself a favor? But, of course, you did. You stopped the touchdown. But the clock has become a factor now. There's just 7:35 to go in this football game. Howe leading Van Alstyne by a score of 28-13. The Panthers with the football, 1st and 10 at their own half-yard line.
Williams certainly doesn't have an enviable task here. He's faced with the football just barely across the goal line and having to move his football club 99 yards for a score.
And the Howe linemen are just going to back their ears, and here they're going to come. Williams tries to hand the football off. One of the boys from Howe says, I think we could recover a fumble. Let's see what the officials say. The officials have not said yet, have they, Jim? Now they have.
Now
1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. The Bulldogs somehow recovered a fumble. It's going to be 1st and goal for Howe, and they're going to wait till the officials mark the ball in play. It's going to be very close to the lip of the cup.
I can't tell. It looks like about the 1 yard line or just inside the 1 yard line. Carberry was the ball carrier, and it's anybody's guess as to who recovered that thing. There was just a big pile of humanity down there. I'm not sure who came up with the recovery, but it was a big recovery at this time for the Bulldogs.
1st and goal for Howe at the Van Alstyne 1. And the hand of the big fullback over the left side, and I think that's the touchdown. That's the way the official gives us a signal. I've not seen a signal yet. Have you, Jim Kuntz?
Yes, he did signal touchdown. That was Clint Bray taking the ball over left guard, going that 1 yard for the touchdown. There is an injured player on the football field for the Bulldogs.
Tommy Shear, James Daniels, and David Wade up there blocking for the boys from Van Alstyne. It hasn't worked too well lastly, but on that running play that time on the left side, Thomas Troxell and James Neely did the blocking on their left side, and they opened the hole into the end zone for Clint Bray.
Bray was shaking up a little bit on that play, but he's going off on his own power and happy with that 6 points.
That's going to move the score out to 34-13. Howe over the Van Alstyne Panthers. Skipworth will hold for the extra point. Steve Hawthorne on the toe, ball back down. It's way high, way out over the fence on the west end.
And it was good, Commodore. That brings the score down to 35 for the Bulldogs and 13 for the Panthers.
35-13, the Bulldogs of Howe lead the Panthers of Van Alstyne. 7:31 to go in the contest. And once again, we'll be back after some words from some great sponsors.
Jerry Justice Siding, serving Grayson County, salutes the Howe Bulldogs and wishes them well. When it comes to siding, don't get caught doing business with unknowns. Remember, that's Jerry Justice. He's been in business for 15 years in the same area. Saluting the Howe Bulldogs, Jerry Justice Siding. Congratulations, team. Go all the way. Win big. This the message for the Van Alstyne Panthers from Meadowbrook Nursing Home. You're a great team. Meadowbrook Nursing Home in Van Alstyne.
We come back to play. 7:31 to go in this fourth and final stanza. Howe leading Van Alstyne now by a score of 35-13. While we are away for the commercial break, Jim Kuntz is giving some information. Bring us up to date on the Howe scoring machine.
Well, this powerful offensive unit of the Bulldogs over the past 4 weeks is averaging just over 40 points per ball game. And the defensive unit has done their share. They've had 2 consecutive shutouts before tonight. And over the last 4 weeks, they've given up now through this point in the ball game a total of only 25 points.
In 4 games?
In 4 games.
Oh, gracious. That's great defensive play. Kickoff time for the Howe Bulldogs. Hawthorne to kick it off once again. Cobray, the deep man in the middle. One's going to go to Cobray. Cobray drops the ball. He's going to bounce ahead of him. He's going to pick it up. Cross the 15, cross the 20, 25, 30-yard line. Finally going to be knocked down about the 32 or 33-yard line. Great return that time by Curtis Cobray. He really never had a chance to get running. He had to pick the ball up after it bounced ahead of him. But a good return, Curtis Cobray. 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Van Alstyne with the football. 1st and 10 at their own 33. Trading this ball game to the Howe Bulldogs now by a score of 35-13. Williams has his troops out and over. Looks to his left. Going to call off a play at the line of scrimmage. Look to his right and calls a play on the other side. Moves Brian Jackson, who's back in the lineup, back a little closer. Before the play gets underway, one of the boys up front in blue moves across the line of scrimmage. That's going to cost the Panthers 5.
That was a big tackle on the right side. Must have missed the snap count, or you heard something that he thought was a snap count, and that cost him 5 yards.
That's going to put the Panthers with the 1st and 15 now. They're back inside of their own 30 at their own 28-yard line. Curtis Cobray. That's one of the wide receivers. Kevin Hicks, the lone running back behind the center, and the quarterback, Williams. Williams out in the left flat. And defensive play made for the Howe Bulldogs.
Number 45, Canada. Number 7, Wade Carson were the 2 on the defense that time for the Bulldogs. Number 11, Mike Wagle, was the intended receiver, and Carson just missed an interception. Just went off the end of his fingers.
2nd and 15 now for the Panthers. Williams, the quarterback, calls up his signals from the line of scrimmage. No huddle. Williams back to throw. Looks right, throws right. Into the hands of Brian Jackson out about the 40-yard line. Brian finally brought down at about the 44, close to the point necessary for the 1st and 10. It is a 1st and 10 for the Van Alstyne Panthers at their own 39-yard line. 44-yard line, that is. 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne at their own 44. They're trading by a score of 35-13 with exactly 7 minutes to go in this football game. Williams moves Brian Jackson a little closer on the right side. Rolls back to throw. Looks left, looks right to the right side, and throws the ball out to the right side. And just over the outstretched hands of Sean Beatty, down about the 25-yard line, and Howe's into the football field. Good coverage out there for the Panthers. For the Howe Bulldogs.
That was number 16, Matt Cavender. We've called his number an awful lot tonight. He was out there again on the coverage.
He certainly doesn't look like he weighs 160 pounds. Looks rather more slender than that.
He doesn't play like a 160-pounder either.
Certainly doesn't that. 2nd 10 this time for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Williams rolls left, wants to hand to Cobray, and does, reversing from left to right as Cobray. But the defense for the Howe Bulldogs was there, and they waited on Cobray, and they didn't buy the draw at all. And Cobray picked up 1, 3rd and 9.
Number 64, Gray, just stayed home and made that tackle as Cobray made his cut at the line of scrimmage.
Williams calling his signal at the line of scrimmage, and they make sure that each other gets it from out the wide receiver positions. Before the snap was made, I think the Van Alstyne offensive lineman, they said the Howe Bulldogs defensive people were not pulled off. They got across that untouchable position before the ball was snapped.
A little eager on the defensive unit for the Bulldogs. They made contact with the center again, and that cost them 5 yards.
Then it'll be 3rd now and 3 for the Van Alstyne Panthers. They're playing it from the Howe Bulldog 49-yard line. Williams back to throw, out in the left flat. Throws to Cobray at about the 45. Gets away from the first man before he could turn on downfield. Someone came in to help, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for Van Alstyne at the Howe 41-yard line. And the clock is ticked down to 6:04 to go. 35-13 Howe over Van Alstyne. It's pass, pass, pass. It had been most of the game, though, Jim.
It's been most of the game.
Williams back throw, out and tipped away. Good defensive play, this time by Skipworth. Skipworth saw the ball coming just before the ball got to his would-be receiver, who was Brian Jackson. Skipworth tipped it high and away.
Commodore, after that ball went by, Thomas Troxell put a hit on Jackson that put him down there for a few seconds.
Sure, and Jackson's going to come out of the lineup, and he's going to come over here to get a little breathing time. The Dogs in the game again, and he can't win this game. And the Howe Bulldogs, and he isn't a Bulldog, he's like a hound to me. He can't win. Williams back to throw. Fakes a short one and rolls right to throw. Being pursued. Williams gets away from one man behind the line of scrimmage. Williams at the 40. Williams ducks away from man at the 35. Inside the 30. Williams still on feet down to about the 25, 23, 22-yard line before he's banged out of bounds hard. But a good run on the part of Patrick Williams, the quarterback for the Van Alstyne Panthers.
Good determination on the part of Williams that time. He just refused to be tackled. He was hit by 3 or 4 Bulldogs and finally was pinned against the sideline. If it hadn't been for that, he'd still be running.
1st and 10 for Van Alstyne at the Howe Bulldog 22-yard line. Once again, the official down the deep secondary is getting the dog out of the game. That seems he is in the Howe Bulldogs secondary, and he isn't a Bulldog, so he can't win in this ball game. The clock is ticked down to 5:39. Howe 35, Van Alstyne 13. Patrick Williams, the quarterback for the Van Alstyne Panthers, steps back 2-3 strides to throw. And into the hands of Mike Waggle down about the 15. Waggle's inside of the 10, somewhere around the 5 or 6 yard line. Mike Waggle sets the Van Alstyne Panthers up with a 1st and goal.
That was Matt Cavender again on that defensive play. He seems to be everywhere the ball is. No matter where the ball is, that's where Cavender is.
That's the way to play the football. 1st and goal now for the Van Alstyne Panthers. Williams calls his offensive set. Looks left and right, steps back to throw. Looking left, look to left, wants to throw right, down he goes. And the football bounced away, but I think the official said Patrick Williams was on the ground. That time I believe he really was. The ball, as he went down, his elbow hit the ground. Then I think the ball rolled away from him.
Yes, that was Aaron Bird, number 50 for the Bulldogs on the defense. He just didn't give Williams any place to throw the football, took the angle away from him, and then took his feet out from under him.
A loss on that play back to about the 12-yard line, 13-yard line, and it's end zone time for Williams once again. But Williams steps back to throw out in the right flat in the hands of Sean Beatty. About 3 or 4 yards across the line of scrimmage, Sean Beatty picked up short yardage down to about the 10-yard line.
That was number 56, Troxell, on the stop for the Bulldogs that time. Good defensive effort.
Van Alstyne out over the football. 3rd down and go from the 10-yard line. And Howe's into the football field. Clock's ticked down to 4:35 to go. Van Alstyne leading, Howe leading Van Alstyne. Howe leading Van Alstyne by a score of 35-13. Williams is going to be tackled and thrown for another loss. But there's a flag laying back about the original line of scrimmage. It was thrown after just about the time the play was being climaxed. And the final climax of that play occurred way back about the 18 or 19-yard line. And the officials are now discussing that flag. Holding called again the Van Alstyne Panthers. This could be one of these penalties that I wouldn't be too much surprised to see Howe refuse the penalty, and that they just did.
Yeah, that was to be the right call here. That brings up a 4th down for the Panthers now, 4th and long, instead of giving them 2 downs to go at it being 3rd down.
Patrick Williams, with his last gasp on this possession, has Waggle wide left. Williams back to throw. Going to be hit, going to be dropped. Again a loss for the Van Alstyne Panthers and Patrick Williams, all the way about to the 25-yard line, as will be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs from their own 25.
Number 74, Nelson, number 22, Boatman, making the sack that time. Again, good defense downfield, good coverage on the part of the secondary. Williams had no open receivers, had to hold on to the football, had to hold on to it about 1 count too long because the defense closed in on him and down he went.
1st and 10 Howe now from their own 25. Do we run out the clock, or does Howe continue to throw the football, Jim Coons?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised now to see that big running back, Clint Bray, just hammer the ball straight forward.
Jay Skipworth hands to Bray on the right side. He's across the line of scrimmage. Bray in there for 5, 10, 11, 12 yards. That time, Bray really got a great hold on the blocking by Tony McLean, Scott Nash, and David Bement, and they open up a great hole, and Bray with a big pickup, 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. Now they play the football from their own 38.
I believe you'll see that again until the Panthers stop it.
Kennedy wide right, in motion. Jerry Covington, hand to reverse that time by the little wingback, reversing from right to left, Pettit, and he got pretty good yardage on this. He reversing from right to left, got good yardage, pick up of about 8 yards, 2nd and 2.
The Bulldogs now control the line of scrimmage and dominating the defensive linemen for the Panthers, and the running backs are just having fun.
That's right. This is fun time for the Bulldogs. It's tough time for the guys playing defense for the Van Alstyne Panthers, because you take the beating just as though you were leading, and you aren't. And the draw, reversing from right to left, one of the wing backs for the Howe Bulldogs. He was reversing on the inside draw and the handoff from Skipworth and picked up good yardage, more than enough for the 1st and 10.
Yeah, this is Monty Walker that time on the carry, a good sophomore running back. He's a 190-pounder, and he plays tough.
1st and 10 for Howe. They're at the Van Alstyne 47-yard line. Howe leading by a score of 35-13, and 2:53 to go on this clock. Kennedy come wide right. Clint Bray, the wrong running back. Kipper dropped the ball and picked it up and threw it downfield and got a completion, I do believe.
That was completed to Stephen Hawthorne over on the left side. I was just about to say, don't look for a pass when Skipworth dropped back, dropped the ball, picked the ball up, and threw downfield for a nice gain.
That time, 2 of the blocking linemen for Howe actually picked Brian Morgan, the defensive end for Van Alstyne, up off the ground, because he had both of them lying on top of him. I think they almost mashed the air out of him. It's going to be 2nd and 1 for Howe at the Van Alstyne Panther 36-yard line. Draw, reversing from left to right for Howe was whom? That was Jerry Covington. Covington with a short gain, but more than enough for the 1st and 10.
Good gain on the part of Covington, a good effort on the part of the offensive line, giving him just enough yardage for that 1st down. And again, I look for the Bulldogs just to continue to play ball control offense and run the football down the field.
35 Howe, 13 Van Alstyne, 1:40 to go in this football game, and the Bulldogs of Howe with the 1st and 10 at the Van Alstyne 36-yard line. Draw on to the big fullback Clint Bray across Tommy Troxtel, James Neely, and Tony McLean blocking up front for him, and Bray with a good pickup down to about the 31-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of 6, 2nd and 4 for the Howe Bulldogs. Of course, the time is now just a matter of no essence, because with Howe leading by Van Alstyne by a score of 35-13 and the clock down to exactly 1 minute to go, it's just a matter of the Bulldogs of Howe running out the clock. Hand off to Bray on the right side. And that could bring this down. The following play in this football contest could be the final play of this contest, Jim Coombs.
Sure could be. It'd be this is one of those ball games where both teams have played hard, given all they've got. It's one of those ball games where you almost hate to see a loser.
You sure do, because it's been a great football game to cover. Boy, this kind you enjoy. Kennedy wide right. I think that's of no significance. Hand to Bray on the left side. He's more than enough for the 1st and 10. Bray inside the 20. Bray inside about the 15-yard line, and be 1st and 10 for the Howe Bulldogs. They're about the 15-yard line, and Van Alstyne's in the football field. They're going to mark it at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10. The official wound his arm. Now we probably won't even run another play, because I think that's going to be it.
That should be able to run the clock out. The Bulldogs are not even coming out of the huddle. They've got their helmets off and walking toward the Panthers, so that is going to be the last play of the ball game.
It's a great football game, and I must admit this is one of the 2 best games I've done this year or last year that I've enjoyed tremendously. And Jim Koontz, shake your hand. This is the first time we ever had the privilege of working together, and I've enjoyed it tremendously. And a final score of the Howe Bulldogs 35, the Van Alstyne Panthers 13. And it was a tremendous football game. The decision only in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
That's right. Everything was up for grabs up till the fourth quarter, and Bulldogs finally outdistanced the Panthers, put this game away, and also at the same time wrapped up the district championship with this victory.
And all they have to do is they have one more game coming up next week. The Bulldogs, you know who that's with, Jim?
Yes, the Bulldogs will be home next Friday night against the Tom Bean Tomcats.
Okay. And of course, that's an old rivalry. It's just about a rock's throw east from Howe to Tom Bean.
Well, it's always a dogfight when Tom Bean and Howe gets together. We know that Tom Bean will be coming ready to play.
Well, once again, Jim, enjoyed working with you a bunch. We had the privilege of seeing a great football game and a great halftime show. I've enjoyed it. Hope we get to work with you again.
Well, me too. It's been my privilege, and thank you for allowing me to share the booth with you tonight.
Enjoyed it a bunch. This is Commodore Good reminding you the final score in our football game tonight. The Howe Bulldogs 35, the Van Alstyne Panthers 13. Commodore Wood speaking for Jim Kuntz, Billy, and myself, reminding you the best way to enjoy good sports is to be one, and a very pleasant good evening.